yeah, that's fine. Hello, everybody. Welcome to week 5 of NECC. We're getting into it with Oswego and Concordia University at Wisconsin. It's going to be a great match for you guys. I'm Treazury. I'll be here casting alongside Kaaroh. And of course, our phenomenal producers, Patrick and Narwhals, are going to be on the back end for us. What do we got here, Kaaroh?
We're actually going to be starting the map on Cafe first. And I have been told beforehand that Oswego is actually going to be a force to be reckoned with, because with Danke on their team, I have heard that he brings a mean Kaid to the table. And that being said, Kaid is typically one of the more banned operators that you would see on any sort of competitive map, and ranked at that. But if we do see that Kaid ban come out, then he would probably have to be switching to someone else. But from what I heard, I don't think that'll be much of an issue.
Yeah, I think he was actually voted the player of the week last week, and he has led his team to a 4-0 record so far. Concordia, Wisconsin is not behind much at all on that 3-1 record, so we've got a couple of the big fish in NECC so far going at it today.
Yeah, I haven't really seen too much interactions with either of these teams, with any other team at that, so I'm ready to be surprised, especially from Danke. That's the only guy I'm really going to be looking out for, or I have any sort of expectations with so far.
All right. We'll begin to match here. As you said before, we're on Cafe. Cafe is actually going to be Oswego's first map choice, so they'll have a bit of advantage here. So, that'll be a nice concern to keep in mind as we get through this.
Starting with the bans, typically you see any sort of ban for the attacking side. I keep saying that it has to do with a hard breacher. The first ban always comes out with either a Thatcher or one of the hard breachers, and it's a staple. And here we do see an Habana ban, which I don't really see too often of. I always say every single time I cast, whenever we see the first attacker ban come out, I bring up that the first any sort of hard breacher would probably be an Ace or a Maverick. Never Habana. I would say that Habana would probably be their last option, but I clearly don't know their rule book or their strat book rather. So those bans are just unknown to me. So and then here comes the Thatcher. Both are going to be hard breacher related bans as well. So there's not going to be any sort of Capitao bans. We're not going to see a Nomad Roam Clear ban or Roam Denial ban it rather. And yeah, this is going to be an interesting game because it's all these bans are being based around hard breachers.
Here's Oswego's ban on the Maestro. I think it was pretty important for them to get the Thatcher off the board, and that Habana is really interesting. You don't see that on Cafe much at all, if anywhere. It's really a very clubhouse-centric ban or a team-centric ban. Here's the Legion ban coming out as well, so that's going to be a little bit of the Rome dealt with. It's going to be a little difficult for Concordia's offense here, not having, or no, they'll actually have quite a few access to roam clear because there's no roam clear bans on the attack. So dealing with that Legion, a really strong roaming operator, is going to be one of those more impactful bans on this.
Not only that, but Legion himself is just more of an intel operator to an extent because his traps give off a loud noise, and not only that, but there won't be points obviously in competitive. But him himself, if you were to be playing in an online game, he would be giving you points. So I consider him an intel operator overall. And Malusi is a very, very good alternative to Legion. So we're going to be seeing a lot of Malusi being played, especially throughout this entire game, because Malusi's ability to actually roam, because the utility that she brings to the table, not only is she like a staple to Jaeger, her gadgets, you just gotta throw them down, then you can just roam however you like. She brings a nitrocell to the table. Her primary gun is absolutely amazing. Her secondary gun is the reticle pistol, and just overall, she's just a powerful roaming operator, and I don't think they were gonna have much of an issue seeing a Legion off the table.
Yeah, I like the option that Oswego has gone with. They took that Maestro off the board so that they're going to have to deal with a lot less of those really impactful bulletproof gadgets. Left on the board, of course, is going to be that Malusi with her Banshee traps. So Cardboard 42 is going to be placing some important bulletproof gadgets along with Sully's shield on that smoke. But taking off some of those bulletproof gadgets from the board is going to allow Blobfish to actually choose the IQ, which is really nice on this map when Valkyrie's left on the board. She is a very powerful operator, giving intel on almost every single part of the map if you get your Valkyrie cam placements right.
Yeah, not only that, but this map is very, very vertical. So the fact that you are bringing an IQ, a lot of the floors are soft. So you can if you position yourself correctly, you can take care of most of the intel, or rather not intel, but utility on sites just by going vertical and taking care of it through her gadget. That being said, I just realized, speaking of utility and gadgets, the drone denial on the defensive side. They have a mute, they have a vigil, and they have a Mozzie. That is a huge. They're all leaning towards the drone denial right there, and they really got to do it efficiently if they do want to keep those drones around and keep that intel around as well. As I say that, there's 3 drones going directly into Red Hatch right now, so they're not going to be wasting any time getting that intel out and trying to pick up that first frag to just give them that momentum to start off this round.
Yeah, like you're saying with those drones, it's all going to come down to Concordia's ability to shoot out those drones and make sure that they get stuck on those Mozzie and mute traps. Because with Oswego's droning really heavy right off the bat, they're going to get a lot of intel, and that can lead to them gaining a lot of ground up here, especially on their standard push of the Cigar Lounge. They're hitting basically every side of that western side of the map. So keeping those drones off is going to stop them from really quickly advancing up and taking that ground. We're going to see really important points here with Sully on that pixel peak with his shield. He unfortunately doesn't have any defenses. Those drone denial operators have left them without a Jaeger or Wamai. It makes it very difficult to hold pixel there, and he's already going to have to be pushing off as J-Boss pushes up into Christmas.
Yeah, typically when you play a map like this, you want to see more of a nitro cell. Like I mentioned before, this is more of a vertical map, and when you see right there, Malusi is not currently running a nitro cell right now, and she's running impacts to open up those rotates, but yet she didn't use them whatsoever to open rotates. So you think that she would stick those nitro cells if they didn't have a strat lined up to worry about focusing those rotates. She did just currently use an impact grenade at an unknown location, but that being said, I still don't really know, and I'm still really confused of why they didn't bring that nitro cell whatsoever. And then I also wanted to bring up that Smoker's not running his SAS shotgun. They're not going to be running the double SAS shotgun. They're going to be running one SMG compared to Mute actually running the shotgun. And you typically see Mute running his SMG compared to Smoke using his SMG. So that's kind of a weird change up. I've never really seen that before in any sort of competitive play. So it's kind of nice to see a little bit more diversity in these types of plays.
Here we're going to start this all these kills coming out on the execute 2 down, Denki and Spicy Fish. Those are some important fraggers. Cardboard 42 for Concordia, Wisconsin down. And Complexity has that opportunity to push up right behind Blobfish into bar. This is important because they actually have control inside, which is going to allow that plant to go down. And Strive, Sonar, and Poison Luck have had to pull back. They don't have good control into sight.
Yeah, this is definitely a very fast-paced situation. Since they got that plant down, the situation is not going to go well for the defenders whatsoever. But as I say that, they actually do switch it back into their favor because of the B2 situation as the diffuser starts to go down. But the angle is currently being held by J-Boss right now. And with that angle being held right now, Sonar should actually be able to fake off that defuse and actually get a better angle on top of him. But the gunshots are going off right now. With that 25 HP remaining on Zofia, the gunfight might go in the favor of the Vigil. The space and the gap between them right now and the Zofia to the diffuser might be the win on the attacking side, but sadly it is not gonna really come out for the defending side either, because the position that they did put it in, they look like they did have a chance to actually come out on top there, but there wasn't really much they could really do once they actually did pick up that first kill. And once it was that 1v1 situation with the Vigil and Zofia, there wasn't really much hope for them in the end.
Right off the bat, we saw Oswego take a pretty convincing first round. There was a lot of competition once the plant went down. The frags just started flying out like crazy, really suddenly on that execute. And we saw Bloodfish manage to, or J-Boss, sorry, managed to stick it out on that defense, just barely kiting out Sonar, who just had that one little opportunity, didn't quite land that headshot to down his opponent and get that defuse off. What do you think was the key there to kind of keeping the defense back and Oswego getting into sight to plant on bar there?
I feel like the defensive side was definitely playing that at a much slower pace rather than what they should have. If you did notice last time, the Mute was holding Cocktail at a very, very far back angle and wasn't really holding to the point of aggression to where they should be afraid to actually push that site. And actually, you saw a gunfight against the Mute and the IQ, and I believe it was near the end of the round when the diffuser was going down. He tried to get that SMG 11 kill off, but it did nothing really connect because I believe a little bit of an issue on that reaction time, because it was either reaction time or it just trigger discipline. I don't know which one to really go with in that situation, but he didn't manage to pick up the kill, and the kill actually went in the favor of the attacking side, and they managed to pick up the Mute instead of the IQ. So in that situation, it just really shows that they wanted to play it slower, and they don't really have the confidence to really peak those angles up compared to the way that the attackers are really playing this. So if they need to just build up that confidence, keep that momentum going to actually show that they cannot take this site without a proper gunfight. So if they decide to actually show that they can actually defend site like they should be, then that's really what they need to do to actually show, and that they can't just defuse as easily as or start planning diffuser as easily as they did last round.
On the operator lineup here, Concordia has actually gotten that Jaeger. That's, I think, was a really good change to make after that last round. Immediately losing a lot of ground in Christmas to losing that pixel right off the bat. So these Jaegers not quite going to do that job though, and Sully's going to be without his shield yet again in an important point in Bakery. He's getting pinched, and there's a lot of intel on him, so he's going to be really lucky to survive for the next few seconds. But he's going to grab that first frag on J-Boss, making this position worthwhile, and he's actually taken out almost a minute of the round by doing this.
Yeah, that's all defense is about. As long as you can waste that time, especially when it comes to vertical. On one of these maps, they typically take a top down, going from top floor. Oh, beautiful kill by Sully right there, as he does pick up the second one onto Spicy Fish. That's both soft breach operators down and off the board. So that's actually be very impactful for the future parts of the round. But that being said, you expect more of a vertical play going top down, clearing off those roamers as much as they can, so they don't have to worry about that roam clear when it comes to someone pushing down staircases behind some of their plays. And that's typically why you run a Nomad. If you're not going to be taking upstairs, you have to run a Nomad, and you don't see any Nomad pick, no gridlock pick. So that being said, I don't really think that this attacking side push is going to be very successful.
Yeah, it's a really lateral push when they have all the tools that they need to push from above. And with all that drone denial that's been brought by Concordia, it's so hard to actually get a front beyond Bakery. They've gotten Bakery, but they just can't get in because they don't have any intel beyond that point, and it's so hard for Denki to actually manage to land a frag through all of that smoke and all of that drone loss. I was a little disappointed to see the drone denial not really get much for Concordia in the first round, but this round it's done a lot. We're down to a minute already, and the man count has been evened up here for Oswego. Too soon to speak, I guess, now that we're on 2v3. But it's looking a little more doable, but they're really crunched on time.
Yeah, with that time remaining, that 30 seconds remaining, the attackers really need to figure out what they really need to be doing there. They need to get that intel as soon as they can, so they can actually have a coordinated push compared to just sitting here and holding an angle. Because that vigil, he's going to be wasting as much time as he can near VIP. As long as an audio call goes out like that bar right there, that's exactly what happens. He does peek the angle, play it very aggressive, and now that that pressure has been applied, so now that they're going to be worrying about that angle, especially with that very low HP, Blob is going to be holding that angle with only like 8 HP remaining, and he's going to lose the gunfight anyway. So that 10 seconds remaining, I don't think they have any chance whatsoever as the defender. Striv actually does manage to pick up that last headshot into complexity to end the round.
I'm really liking the SAS operator plays here. We're seeing Strive take that mute and sort of take up the role as the architect for the team. He's got that shotgun opening up all those holes and, of course, getting his mute jammers down to protect their intel and sort of just keep, the defenders from pushing into sight so quickly behind a drone. And of course, Sully did a lot of work that round. His took the first 2 frags for his team on smoke, an operator that's usually not going to be roaming and taking those early frags, just kind of stalling for time on those smoke grenades. But with the FMG9, he's able to take those long-range encounters since he's been freed up from taking the Mossberg by Strive, and he's making it work that way. I really like to see that.
Yeah, I do as well, but I was about to mention Capcan 6-pick was probably going to be coming out again to switch over to the Jaeger, but they actually stick the Capcan, which is an interesting play because Capcan is one of the more less picked trap operators, and I don't really know what to say about that. I guess it's really for those last second situations to where they need to get on site with those like 30 seconds remaining, and they don't have time to really check for those cams, especially in very high pressure areas to where they don't really know where they are, and lack of intel really definitely makes those Capcan traps a lot more effective than what they typically are in at least higher competitive play. So if they don't pick up with that intel, if they don't pick up with the fact that they need to get on site as soon as they can, then I don't really know how they're actually going to be dodging that. So I like how Cardboard actually figures out that weakness in their play and running those operators that exploits those weaknesses and actually shows that if they do not get that intel in, then they will be losing a lot more HP than they should, and not even from gunfights. It's just straight up traps.
Yeah, at this point, I think that's a nice pick with the combination of all these resources that they've put into drone denial will make those Capcans a lot more useful. However, with all the resources they put into drone denial, they don't have anything on grenade denial yet again, which took a lot of ground from them. And if you look at Oswego's lineup, it stayed the same every round. We've still got Spicy Fish on that Ash. We've still got J-Boss on the Zofia, and he was very successful on this 3rd floor attack with that Zofia. And he's got 4 charges on that, and Danky is still on that Capitao. 4 more charges on his crossbow, and nothing to stop it from Concordia's defense. That's so much ground that they can just take with their gadgets.
Yeah, Concordia's lineup right now is the same drone denial. So the fact that they're running that drone denial just adds on to the fact that that Capcan is going to be pretty effective. So with that drone denial in place, they also have 2 entry denials. So as long as that smoke stays alive, as I say, that he actually has 50 HP remaining, so that's going to make it a lot more dangerous for the angles that he will be peeking. He needs to fall back as soon as he can before those canisters are thrown out. So he needs to stay alive to actually utilize that utility as much as he can. Unlike Capcan, where you just throw it down and now you can just be a roamer. So at this point, they really got to continue to play it slowly. Just don't let the attackers get that intel that they need. And at that point, then they can just freely hold the site as much as they want.
Those drones are still doing a lot of work for Oswego. They got intel on 2nd floor and 3rd floor by red stairs. And as this is their primary attack, that's going to be really important. And with that wall unreinforced at the top of red, they already have full access of piano room yet again. So J-Boss and Danky are very free to just push up here. Although it looks like Sully will actually land the first kill this time on his pixel objective. Or not objective, but his pixel hold. So this is going a lot better for him, although Oswego has gained a lot of ground through Christmas.
Yeah, Mozzie drone actually did go down there, so Mozzie is successfully taking care of those drones as soon as he can. 50 seconds remaining right now, and that's Capcan dropped off the board as well. So that's another operator in the favor of the attacking side. Now it's a little bit more evened up right now, but the defenders always still have that advantage because the attackers have to peek them. So now bringing it down to 40 seconds, Mozzie is actually getting into a little bit of a gunfight right now, and there's a lot of damage on both sides right now. So with those little bits of damage, the people with a little bit more HP need to be the ones trying to stay back as much as they can and use that HP for the later on of the round in those last second situations.
There goes Sully, lost to that Capital bolt. Another casualty to not having any of that grenade denial. And once again, we see Concordia push to the back on Cocktail side of the map. Strive in the same spot as before. Sonar poised for a flank. And there's going to be the first kill, leaving Sonar and Strive left as the only defenders. Spicy Fish going down, and Blobfish has to do it all right now. There's one, and he needs one last, and the time is just not going to do it for him.
Yeah, that was actually a really interesting watch right there, because in the past rounds, I actually mentioned how the mute, if he didn't play that angle as aggressive, or if he continued to play the angle a little bit more defensive compared to aggressive, then he probably would have won the last round. But that time, since he played it defensive and wasted that time, and he was that last operator remaining, and they couldn't get that diffuser in time before the 0-second timer, it worked out in his favor. And since that mute actually stayed back and didn't do anything and he didn't get into any sort of gunfights whatsoever, that won him the round right there, compared to, I'm not entirely sure. I think it was Sonar who was the one to actually take care of the diffuser, down her, and then in that situation, it was pretty much just smooth sailing because Mute was the only one alive and they had no idea where he was.
It's sort of interesting how just a difference of a few seconds on that attack, it was kind of the same attack, sort of the same defense. The frags were comparable to round one, but it looks like Oswego just ended up like 20 seconds behind where they were at on their previous attack on third floor, and they just were not able to push up and actually get that plant down nearly as soon, and they just lost a timer on that one.
Yeah, since the defenders both have won the upstairs and the kitchen site as well, they are going to be going for the middle site. And I am a big fan of reading. I am. And the fact that they are going mining right now is kind of weird to me, because you don't really see too much of that in more competitive play. Ranked maybe, but when it comes to competitive play, you don't really see too much of that, and you want to see more of a reading, because the way that it's just kind of set up, because the two soft walls in between them, it makes an easy rotate for both of the defenders compared to the rotate between the hallway to get to mining, compared to the little crouch hole, depending if you actually open up like a rotate to actually go from train dining. So since that is set up right now, the attackers have a little bit more of an advantage right now, I feel. So if they do take advantage of what they have at hand right now, then the attackers might be able to even it up to a 2-2 match.
Here we're seeing Spicy Fish bring out the sledge for the first time. I'm a little surprised to not have seen him. He adds a lot of soft destruction on on a map where there's just a lot of soft things to blow up. Obviously, these hatches are going to be nice to get out of the way right off the bat for practically free for sledge. And we didn't see him on kitchen attack either. There's a lot of things to destroy and actually take out those bandit or mute gadgets below that are protecting the kitchen walls. This time, it will probably be used more on on Christmas room side in order to open up above train room and sort of cut off rotations between sites. Like you said, those rotations are going to be a little tighter on this objective as opposed to reading room.
Of course, and I love play right now, because like I mentioned on kitchen, they didn't go for the top-down take. This time they actually are, and that's the first kill, Blobfish on the cardboard, and that's beautifully played, because that is the Malusi off the board, and then following up with Sonar. So Spicy takes down Sonar with a beautiful headshot, because she actually... Who just got that kill? It was Spicy Fish. Okay, never mind. I thought for a second I saw the LA and I thought it was Yang's gun, so I thought they brought a Yang. Spicy actually does pick up a double kill in the process. So Poison Luck off the table too. That's all of the upstairs roam right now, leaving it to the defenders downstairs. At this point, they need to isolate those 1v1s as much as they can. Like you see right here, Solely trying to get at least one little headshot off. And if you can get that headshot off, that's a little bit more into his favor. But in the situation, I don't think there's really much for them.
That was a lot to lose 3 of your operators for pretty much nothing. No opportunities to trade, and it didn't look like that drone denial actually was able to come in for Cardboard, Poison Luck, or Sonar. All of them killed off before they were able to get behind any sort of drone denial, and they just had the intel so early. Just spelled disaster for Concordia on this round. Oswego's looking pretty good. They've got 50 seconds left, and with only 2 more operators to root out, they can probably get a pretty safe plant off here.
Yeah, in this current situation, they're not using any drones whatsoever. They're just going straight for the plant. I don't think the defender side has any idea that this plant is actually going down. And as you can see, the plant actually went down flawlessly. Strafe actually picking up the first kill and then on to Danky. Danky was the person that I said that was going to be showing the most promise for this match, and he gets dropped in that 2v5 situation, bringing it down to a 2v4. They need to figure out a way to actually take down these attackers as soon as they can before they actually continue to actually try to get that defuse off, or at least they need to take down the rest of the attackers to get this defuse off if they do coordinate well and actually watch this diffuser like they should be.
We've seen the diffuser down for about 12 seconds here, and Sully and Strive have yet to make any push into mining room. They've got eyes on it now, but there's a lot of guns pointed at that diffuser. It's going to be very hard to get that, and Blobfish is going to pick up yet another kill and win it for his team.
I feel like the awareness from both sides right there is just kind of iffy in my opinion. I feel like the attackers should have utilized a little bit more of the drones. It did work out in their favor. I do want to say that, but I believe unless there were some sort of call-ups that I missed, but the fact that both the defenders were completely off-site, they were lucky in that sense. But since they didn't drone it, that totally could have been a death for Ace instantaneously when he started defusing if they did not check the angles correctly. So the fact that I think it was IQ, he did clear pillar, so that was one off the board. That wasn't one little angle that he could have watched easily. So that's a rotate off the board. And then they needed someone to actually watch hallway during the defusal, and that was pretty much all the intel that they really needed. They were just going to be holding those angles with just their eyes, no drones needed. So they did execute it pretty well, but I feel like if there's a little bit more intel, it probably would have been even better. But that being said, the defending side, the awareness that they had and the positioning of the attackers would have been a little bit more obvious because the angles that they had set up, understand that they're holding back and waiting for that audio call. They're not going to be just running around site gunning down people. That defensive play would not be working out in that situation, because with the defenders, once you get that defuse down, the attackers become the defenders and the defenders become the attackers. You need to play a little bit more aggressive on that defending side, and you cannot waste any more time because you're in a 2v5 situation. You cannot waste any time. You got to pick up those 1v1s as soon as you can, or it's just going to be a loss for you.
Yeah, I'm hoping to see Sonar and Poison Lock be able to pull off more on the roam this time. They really got done dirty last round. Of course, there's a difference between playing to die and dying while playing. And I think last round we saw a little more of the dying while playing. They weren't really able to take any time from Oswego. They weren't able to really slow down their intel push, and they just gave away third floor really early. I think they can learn from that and sort of play more conservatively on that attack. Those early frags are important, but you shouldn't be unnecessarily losing your players to try and take a chance at taking that early pick. Like, that's like running out. You're just taking 50-50s that aren't worth it.
In this current situation right now, I like the changeup that they made. Like I mentioned before, last round, they decided to take the vertical play first. They decided to wipe off all the players up top, and it worked in their favor. They took out 3 roamers simultaneously, and it was absolutely beautifully done. And that's exactly what they're doing right now. They're doing a top-down push. This is what I like to see. This is exactly how Cafe should be played. They still don't have any sort of roam denial, but they're taking care of those roamers while they can. They're moving them all downstairs. They're trying to isolate them like, hey, guys, get down to the basement. That's where the gunfights are actually going to be happening. If you don't go down there, you're losing your head. So in that situation, they need to take care of these people as soon as they can. I think there are a few pretty sneaky roamers, really patient roamers as well. They need to waste that time. And since it isn't really going, I don't think I've really seen any drones on the top floor. They're really just peeking with their foreheads right now. And if they don't really change up that play, they need to they probably won't be living for much longer. It may be now, but if the attackers don't start using their drones more, then it won't be as efficient as it should be. I mean, like, they're winning their gunfights, don't get me wrong, but just they need to change that little factor up.
I think that bravado isn't going to hurt them this round. It could very well in the future, but that's really quick pickups on all of third floor being taken. So now those gunfights are actually going to be on second floor here. Sully playing pretty aggressively here, but he's going to have to take a gunfight with 3 different attackers. Oswego picking him up with relatively little damage loss on Danky for that kill. But with that very quick third floor take, and now second floor take, that's all of the attackers off, or the defenders off of that wide roam. Sully and Sonar both off the board. This is going to allow for this vertical push, which we've seen 2 rounds in a row now prove very fast and effective for Oswego. Last round taking 3 off really early. This round 2 off really early. I had a point I was going for with that, but there's a lot going on here. And these fuse charges are going to be doing a lot of damage in sight. That's going to be mixing up the defenders. And I think Oswego is going to be looking to actually get down into the site here very soon.
Yeah, bringing it down to a 2v5 situation, this is exactly what you want to see from the attacking side. And now, definitely, Striv is the last one on site playing the smoke. He does manage to pick up a kill for his own. That does happen to be on Spicy Fish. Does pick up a second one as well, but is instantly traded back. Oswego taking a round 5 as well. But that being said, I wanted to bring up the fact that I liked a little bit more aggression that you showed at the end of that round right there. But I feel like early on, when it came to clearing out those roamers, there was a lot of intimidation, I feel. The attackers feel intimidated to peek these angles because when it came to that Jaeger, he was alive for way too long. He was playing that correctly. That Jaeger was peeking the correct angles. He was understanding where he was. He wasn't really hitting his shots, I can say that much, but the way he was playing it was pretty much how you should be playing in that situation because he was pretty much just trapped in a corner. But since those attackers were very intimidated to actually peek that angle, he was alive for way too long. That's a lot of time wasted for the attacking side as well. Like I said, they're winning anyways. They're winning their gunfights anyways. They're getting those kills, but it could be better. It could be better.
Yeah, coming back to the point that I was making just a little bit ago, with that really fast top-down push from the attack, Oswego's getting a lot of success. And you mentioned quite a bit earlier that we weren't seeing many C4s from Concordia. And once again, we're seeing Cardboard 42 running those impacts instead of impacts. Last round, we saw one impact on the board for Concordia, or one nitro cell, I'm sorry, being run by the Kaid, and he was very far away from third floor, all the way down in kitchen, holding up the site. And they just weren't having those opportunities for those vertical kills, which if you're gonna not roam anyone third floor, that's fine. You know, you don't need to roam that far, especially when you're losing your roaming gunfights. But when you roam a second, you were with both Sully and Cardboard 42, and Sonar, I'm sorry, you're going to need to have something to change those odds in your favor. And a nitro cell is a perfect thing to do that. As long as you have some cams upstairs, you can get some easy free kills and leverage those first picks in your favor. And we're just not seeing Concordia do that. That would be just an easy fix here if they can read these top-down pushes.
I mean, Valkyrie is totally to their disposal. They banned Maestros. That is a cam, one of the more important cams off the board, the Intel operators. But Valkyrie is totally to their disposal. Pulse is to their disposal. But they could also just still use those audio calls and just the default cams in general. If they want to utilize those nitro cells and actually place those nitro cells below, let's say, Cigar Shop, you can't place it below Red Hatch, but actually New Hatch is what I meant to say. You could place it below New Hatch. And that being said, if you actually do have basic callouts and you can act. Oh, that kill on the smoke was absolutely horrible. That, oh gosh, that's so sad to see. So like he got the little quick peek, but he didn't actually follow up with any pretty good shots. But J-Boss actually was the one to get that beautiful shot because I think it was an instantaneous headshot. So if he didn't hit that, that could have been a lot more damage. And then you see that utility go off the board as well. That was the other bit of intel that I was about to mention, that they do have the yokai on the board to actually use, but they're utilizing in such a poor manner. Because the fact that he was just using it to stun an operator that had no line of sight to any other defenders to actually counter him while he's stunned, that was kind of just a waste of a drone right there. And I feel like they really need to start cleaning that up before anything. There goes the second drone right there. That's both of Echo's drones off the board. Now he's just going to be a fragging operator, and not even that good of a fragging operator at that. I don't want to say too much about Echo. I'm not that big of a fan of him, but still, that
MPF 5SD just does not have very good damage output. It's all right for headshots, but once you're left without that utility, and you're definitely taking Echo for that utility, you know, that's a huge loss to trade out your Echo drones for nothing. They didn't get a kill on either of them. And there's another situation where that C4 would be great. No, of course it's Sonar, not a Cardboard 42, so he doesn't have an opportunity to throw a nitro cell. But if they're playing someone with a nitro cell down below, that would be an easy kill on New Hatch for nothing to trade.
Yeah, if he was running the nitro cell, I'm pretty sure with that placement that would have been a confirmed kill. So if he was running the nitro cell, confirmed kill in their favor. That's that pressure from downstairs. They just have those Claymore set up, and if he does, yeah, I was going to say that angle is going to be almost inevitable for that Claymore to be taken care of. And now this Vigil can freely take a kill, because I don't think the audio call actually came out exactly what happened. Spicy actually was the person to take that impact damage, and it didn't matter anyway.
Looks like Blobfish landed a pair for his team. Sonar's flank is coming a little bit slow. He's not quite turning the tides. But with Danky down, there's only 2 more attackers to take out. It's looking like an even game with 18 seconds left. There's going to go Thermite. Complexity down just like Danky. And Blobfish does not have time to res either. He's got to win this for his team, but he just can't do it. Strip continuing to go off with the SMG-11, landing another 2 kills here at the end of the round.
I like Strip. I like Strip now. Like, he completely changed up his play. I said he shouldn't be playing as defensive anymore, especially on this site. He should be playing a little bit more aggressive. He needs to show a little bit more confidence to actually apply that pressure. And they can square up with these people. They can easily square up with these people if they really wanted to. And that's exactly what Strip is doing right now. And he's really showing, hey, I'm here to play. Peek me. I'm gonna win this gunfight. And he just won 2 in a row. He downed 1, and then he actually picked up the final kill onto the IQ. That's 2 kills in his favor. And if he didn't really do any of that, then I don't know if they would have won that round.
Yeah, I like that flank from Sonar. It was slowed down by that Claymore, of course. The Claymore not going to stop him, but the slowing him down really was one of the things that made the difference between that being a 1-kill flank and like a triple kill flank. Like, if he had just a little bit more time to work with there, he really could have gone off on the back line of Oswego.
Yeah, and I just realized that Mira was on the board. I entirely forgot to mention that the fact that Mira is probably the most banned operators in the game, mainly for, for obvious reasons, because her window, I keep saying this every single stream, every single cast that I do, I mention how Mira is the full package of an operator. Her throwable, nitrocell. Her primary gun is a vector. Secondary gun's a shotgun. Her main gadget is a mirror that can lock down any sort of angle for a vast amount of time. So that being said, if they do utilize her correctly, if she's being given to the person that can actually use her mirror windows correctly, if she's in the right hands, then she is a force to be reckoned with. So since she's on the table, that's going to be a lot more time wasted. And that being said, actually, we have not seen an attacking side from this team yet. So I don't want to make a judgment call yet if they've been efficient whatsoever. But if they need to get that intel in, unlike the other team has been doing so far, if they get that intel in, if they actually utilize that utility correctly and try to focus it and try to save it for that Mira, because that Mira, if they don't get it off, another operator can just take care of it and just take her place, because that Mira is not only being narrowed down to one single defender. It can be used to every single one of them. It's universal.
I appreciate that Concordia used a defensive lineup that was very to their liking with that active drone removal. That's really appreciable, but I think I like Oswego's lineup here a lot better. They've definitely got that Jaeger to hold up on Pixel, that same smoke placement, but also that Valkyrie, one of the strongest operators on this map. And of course, J-Boss on that Mira you spoke to quite a bit. And I think J-Bus is a great operator to have, or a great player to have on that. He's made some very impactful kills, going even here on that 4-4 record, but those have all been really good kills for his team. Of course, clutching round 1 for his team single-handedly. So I think he's going to be great for slowing down that defense and getting some important kills to really clutch it up for Oswego.
Yeah, it's an interesting lineup to see on their secondary gadgets, because Oswego is actually showing that they know that they need to bring those nitro cells. You notice how there's currently 3 nitro cells throughout their entire lineup. And
yeah,
then
it's like they really play the way that we want to.
Yeah, to say they got to be stream sniping, I'm telling you, man. But no, on the attacking side, now you notice that there's actually 3 smoke grenades. Just that can actually be utilized very well if they do actually coordinate that correctly. But the damage that you did witness get put onto Poison, that could actually been all those smoke grenades and all that utility taken off the board. He did utilize one of his track stingers, but he did not really. He hasn't used the last one yet, so he needs to get that down as soon as he can before he dies, because not that low HP. That utility is no longer used once he dies. So if he doesn't throw that down as soon as he can, or try to find a placement to actually put it down in whatever clutch situation before he dies, then it won't be very useful for him.
There's a good pick on the ace. Most of his charges are down, though. He's done his hard-breaching job, opened up into piano room. So Crowbar 42 was free to die. Sonar, on the other hand, was going to be pretty important through the rest of the round, and he is off the board, not going to be able to open up anything more with his secondary shotgun or his gadget shotgun on Buck. And here's those smokes that you were talking about on Poison Luck coming into effect, and his knife is not going to quite land the kill on Complexity. Spicy Fish, however, going down. That's important on these last few moments, because the smoke grenades can easily last out 20 seconds of the round. Strive and Sully looking in a tight spot here. They're not able to get into bar very effectively. There's still that line of sight being held very securely by J-Boss. And Pixel still hasn't been dealt with. Complexity landing another kill for himself. And Strive is on his own against 4 members of Oswego. 3 seconds left. There's no way he can do it. That's going to be a round for Oswego yet again.
I have a couple notes. But for the defending side, the mirror window and the coordination between the shield playing Pixel and the mirror window back towards, I believe it was Plywood, that was well played. I really like that angle that they had set up. I honestly gotta give them props for that one, because that mirror window setup, like I said, they can lock down everything. And not only did she have it facing towards Freezer, she didn't have it inside Freezer. She had it towards Plywood, and she probably had some support on White Stairs or something like that. But the fact that she can hold Freezer and Plywood just from that one singular angle, or not Plywood, Cigar. The fact that she could hold Cigar and Freezer as well as she was right there, that's huge. That's absolutely huge. But there was some nitro cells going off, and that gridlock, that's where I want to kind of slide some of my notes towards. That gridlock play of her just jumping straight over that shield to take care of that smoke, and then attempted to knife the smoke in the process. That wasn't really...
I love that.
Oh yeah, you love to see it, but not from their side. I just want...
He was so close. He's so close.
He was close, but a little bit of odd review. I would say I like the aggression. Like I mentioned before, the aggression is kind of needed to actually... That confidence, I like the confidence, but that situation is not something that you really want to put yourself into.
I think it was a situation where they needed to just take out the shield earlier. That was their only chance at that point. It was like a last-ditch effort. So Like I see
That's
where
why
he's
that's
coming
off-breach.
from here.
Yeah, you can see what they're like, okay, we're wasting time right now, but they need that soft breach. Take care of the ADSs. He was sitting behind that shield, and because that smoke was there, he knew that he was applying that pressure and that these people don't really have the confidence to actually peek them properly. So the fact that he was just sitting there wasting that time, the audio calls weren't coming out, they probably had a Valkyrie there giving those call outs to him, making sure that he knew what was going on 24/7. So the fact that that coordination and that those comms are coming through just shows me that Oswego is actually going to be the team that comes out on top here if these attackers don't start picking it up.
These rounds have been really back and forth, but that's going to spell a little more of an advantage for Oswego because on attack, they have that bit of a disadvantage. And third floor, where we went to that site quite a bit, it's a hard objective to attack. There are just a bunch of choke points. You look at bottom of New Hatch from Red Stairs, that's a great choke point for the defense. You look at Pixel, that's another great choke point for the defense. All the way through Whitehall, that's super easy to watch from just a couple of spots in construction and even in freezer if you have a rotate from bedroom or from bathroom, sorry. Those are just great defense spots, and to lose those on the defense side is not going to spell that advantage for Concordia that they want. And already it looks like Concordia is getting ahead on this round. There's trade-on damage between Spicy Fish and Sonar, but Kitchen Wall is already open from Bakery, and it looks like Spicy Fish is pretty stuck here. He's got eyes on him from 2 different directions.
Yeah, it looks like Soli is actually to be utilizing that little impact right there in a couple seconds. The shots actually do go out, and that's actually to be Soli being taken down or Spicy Fish rather, getting taken down very early on in the round. But that exact situation with that smoke, that's exactly why you want to take that vertical, because there is a vertical angle. If you open up above prep, you can get a direct angle onto smoke. If he's aware of it or not, you can take him down almost instantaneously, and that's a lot of damage that they could be saving. That's a lot of utility that they could be saving. They lost a Twitch drone in the process of that smoke being there, so that's a lot of intel and utility that they could have saved if they just went vertical on that and actually pushed them off that angle, but they decided not to, and then just try to take it with only sheer force of just their guns and bullets and shit and crap like that.
As far as the lateral hold goes, though, Concordia is doing a lot better than Oswego was able to manage on their kitchen attack. Sully putting the plant down with still 5 members left of his team, and there goes Danky. There's only 3 members left of Oswego to defend. There's one coming out for Complexity, but he's got to push a lot against several attackers that have eyes on the diffuser. But J-Boss has got something to say about that. He's got this flank, and there's 2 kills for him. 1 more outside ahead of him. If he can land that, he's going to open up the defense or the diffuse for his defenders. But Sully is not going to let that go down.
Yeah, Sully has been playing fairly well right now. As I do mention that Craster's Curse, he gets taken down instantaneously as Blobfish picks up a second one on Distriv as well. Yeah, like I said, Oswego is actually going to be the one that actually come out on top here, and they're probably going to be continuously showing that they are here to play, and they will not be. This momentum is not going anywhere.
That was Concordia's round to lose, I think, absolutely. Blobfish, though, is crazy. On the attack, on that IQ almost, I think, every round, he just kept lining up those kills for his team. He'd consistently open it up on the first frag and close it out with a couple frags on the end of the round. And here on defense, it's no different. On that Valkyrie, he's got a great gun on the MPX. He's got a great 2-speed operator. He's got a nitro cell to throw around. And he's got all of that crazy intel from Valkyrie on Cafe Dostoevsky. That's a great combination, and he's just set up for success. And we're seeing that from that clutch right there. Being able to pick up right where his teammate J-Boss left off by just finishing off all of those attackers all the way through Bakery.
Yeah, and see, this is exactly what I'm saying. Oswego, it's coming out with the actual proper sites as well, because they actually brought the reading site this time, and that's exactly what you want to see. The vertical play that can actually come out of this is pretty efficient as well. If they actually keep these rotates open, like you see, Spicy Fish is opening up those rotates that you want to see. That rotate, that little foot shotgun hole, yeah, little footholes. If they actually have those open, those are potential angles that can actually take care of attackers coming in almost instantaneously. So now that they have this stuff open, if they actually do reinforce and actually set up properly, I feel like they have a much better chance of winning this compared to the mining hold last time.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, it looks like Oswego is opting to go for that reading room. We're saying we like this objective a little bit more. It's all about playing vertically. And it looks like Oswego is going for a little more of that drone denial with J-Boss and Spicy Fish on Mozzie and Mute, respectively. So they're sort of taking it a little more out of Concordia's playbook for that defense for this round.
Yeah, they're very contrasting. These plays that are coming from both these teams contrast a lot, and I feel like what I've been mentioning has been a lot. You see a lot more from Oswego compared to Concordia, Wisconsin. Like I feel like just off of what I'm seeing, and I feel like they have a little bit more. I don't want to say experience, but they just understand what they should be doing compared to what's been going on so far. See, Spicy's holding upstairs. You see, coming from these pings, they have this coordination. They understand. Okay, we need these rotate holes open. They have plans. Spicy Fish did not shotgun open that hatch right there. Sadly, I think he's probably going to be doing it very soon. Yeah, I don't know if he's actually. I don't know if that actually came through right there through the comms, but Blobfish actually taken down instantaneously from the sledge right there, showing that there's going to be a lot of aggression upstairs, and they need to start focusing that or just fall off site to get. It's either get that trade, fall off site, and just keep that pressure applied as much as you can.
There goes Sully, but Cardboard 42 was able to make some really good impacts there. Blobfish, probably the best operator to take off the board right now, although his cams will continue to add all of that value. But in addition, he also puts Spicy Fish off of the top of White. And with another kill coming out from Striv, Danky's off as well. That's 3 defenders left, giving the man advantage to Concordia University.
Yeah, currently a 3v4 situation. It's been pretty effective for the attacking side. I'm completely taking everything that I said about Oswego. The roam potential upstairs has not really been doing too much for them. Sully was the only one to actually fall to them so far, and Sonar actually might be picking up a second one, or a third one rather, downstairs near Pillar. And they actually need to keep that pressure applied. You see this vertical play. This is what I'm saying. The vertical play is actually coming out now. This is what you need to see from the attackers if they actually want to win these rounds. And then more vertical play coming out. Striv playing these cluster charges coming from up top. Might actually pick up a kill there. No damage actually went off, but he still has plenty of charges to use. They haven't really made their way to the floor that the site is actually on right now, but they are picking up these kills like Spicy Fish right there. Beautifully played. 2v4 situation. Now they're on that site. They don't really have much intel to deal with it, but if they do win these gunfights, they actually might come out on top.
Concordia's taken quite a while to get down to the second floor, but they picked up a lot of kills along the way, and J-Boss, despite this time left, has a lot to go up against in these final 20 seconds. There, he's going to pick up some damage on Poison Luck, but it's not quite going to land the kill. He's got a little bit of time to reload here, but Striv is taking this opportunity to plant because Poison Luck has full intel on J-Boss's location, and he can just hold him here with that angle. Their Poison Luck's finally going to go down, but the call is going to come out, and Sonar and Striv know what to look for, and all that utility from Poison Luck has made it very hard for J-Boss to make this rotation. He can't take a lot of gunfights this way.
Yeah, J-Boss really needs to play this a little bit more quicker because with that defuse countdown timer going down, and he has no intel whatsoever on where they are right now. They got to figure out these angles as soon as he can, and especially with that HP remaining, it's not really going to be working out in his favor. As I say that, he actually does pick up the first one onto Striv, and actually the angle, oh, beautiful pre-fired straight through the wall, picking up the final kill onto J-Boss. I said that might look promising because of the awareness that he had right there. That quick kill onto Fuse, he was looking pretty good. Oh, did you see a little pixel of his elbow peek right there? Sonar, okay.
That was clean.
Never mind, Sonar's my new favorite player. You see that reaction time there, and his understanding, his awareness right there, his understanding to actually turn around. He saw the elbow, and he now understands, okay, this guy's probably be playing aggressive. The time that he has left over, I'm going to be pre-firing this, and perfectly played too. Since the HP was very low, he would have won that anyway. It was beautifully played.
Yeah, Blobfish is definitely the top fragger for Oswego, but I think J-Boss is the player that you want on that clutch scenario more than anyone. So I think if anyone was going to mount that mountain and go all the way getting that triple kill and the defuse, it was going to be him. But that was absolutely Sonar's round. He was playing mad all the way through the round, picking up early kills, picking up the last kill, and just thinking on his toes. You see that little elbow peek and a great kill through the wall, and you see him take a gunfight and immediately start shooting out the floor to find the roamers below him. That was just great gameplay to see.
Oh yeah, he was applying that pressure where he needed to apply that pressure. There was someone on pillar stairs. He takes the gunfight for a little bit. If he felt like he wasn't really going to win that gunfight and his aim was a little bit off, which it kind of was in that situation. So if he fell back a little bit, applied even more pressure, and actually scared him out of that position with that vertical play with the shotgun, where you see the B-bomb chassis that was just right next to that. And since he opened that up, it makes the defender that's holding behind that pillar a little bit more restricted, and he needs to get off that angle as soon as he can. And he'll probably be holding that angle for as long as he can, because he expects, since that Sonar was playing so aggressive in the past, he expects, or at least he should expect, aggressive play. So since he's playing those little bit of mind games with the defending side, then they will be coming out on top. And then with Sonar picking up that final kill, and then I'm not going to drop the fact that his awareness was absolutely beautiful there. You just got to give him props for how well he played that round.
That was actually a really good round to take for Concordia as well. They've lost the last 2 rounds, so the momentum was definitely going in Oswego's favor. And every round really counts as we get close to 7 for that match, or get to 6 for that match point and 7 for the actual winning of this first map. So that was really pivotal for Sonar to pick up this round.
See, what I mentioned before, if you're going to be bringing both SAS up in the mute and the smoke, you typically see one of the operators bringing one of their SMGs. Like I said before, Concordia, Wisconsin actually brought up Smoke's SMG first, the FMG. He brought that one out, which is a little bit unorthodox, but the fact that they did bring it was kind of cool to see because it was a little bit more diverse than what I've seen before. But this time they actually brought both shotguns. Danky's actually running shotgun as well as Spicy Fish. I'm really curious because you can see that these angles that they're holding right now are very tight. Spicy Fish actually holding kind of a little bit of a long angle as well. That positioning right there, you expect to see a little bit more long angle fights coming out of it. So Spicy must be pretty confident in his SMG-11 ability, and hopefully that actually pick up a couple kills with it because they're wasting no time with these drones going out. So I like to see that Concordia has actually picked up on the fact that they need to get that intel while they can because they're not many gunfights without it. So I would like to see this improvement from both teams. So whatever's happening right now, they just got to keep up that momentum and they should be golden.
Looks like Oswego still has a default cam out by Bakery side. That's really nice, getting the location on those players on Rappel. That's a bit of an oversight from Concordia there. You were talking about those shotgun choices. I really loved the FMG9 being taken out on Sully on the Concordia defense. I like the confidence of taking. Oh, I guess never mind. Complexity is actually the one playing the shield yet again. He switched from the Jaeger to the Wamai, so he actually does have a more effective SMG on that MP5K. So they don't really need the FMG9 here. That's also a very reasonable way to play this out. And since Wamai can keep placing those little Wamai charges on his magnets, he can hold this position for quite a while. He's a very endurance-minded operator, but eventually an ace charge is going to come through and he's going to be pushed off a pixel.
Yeah, that selection of utility is not really the best, but Spicy Fish, like I mentioned before, probably wasn't going to be winning that gunfight, but he actually does trade it. He does take down Cardboard in the process, and I don't think the ace actually managed to get off his second charge there, so that is a huge kill. Wait, we're only 10 seconds left? Oh my gosh, this round completely flew by, and they barely done anything, but the diffuser's still going down. That's a natural cell in the favor of the defending side, and that's probably going to be a cleanup for them. Oh my gosh, it's a bloodbath. Yeah, Striv is going to be the last one to keep the diffuser down with the 0 seconds remaining. That was okay, I was talking him up before, but now it's very 50-50 now. You can't really say much right now. The fact that their intel coverage was not good whatsoever. They didn't clear those corners as fast as they should have. They were taking from the top floor, but they didn't take it as fast as they should be. The last push with like a 4v4 situation was 15 seconds remaining. That was, oh my god. Okay, I said pick it up. They were picking it up, and they kind of just dropped all those expectations. They need to start getting back into the motion again because it's currently match point, and I don't think Oswego is going to be letting up on that momentum.
That was a minute and a half looking for first picks. And when they've got 2 mirrors on the board and a player playing on Pixel, that needs to be dealt with definitely by the first minute and a half, or at least the Pixel. It's hard to deal with the mirrors until late game, and it's a little bit easier if you're playing vertically from second floor up to third floor to deal with those mirrors. But we just did not see any of that round, and like you said, it was just slow all the way. We saw a trade, one player off of each side, only 4 on each in 10 seconds left, and at that point you've just got to scramble. Concordia, I'm sure on their comms they went, we have to plant right now. Everyone just execute what you can, and we'll hope that we get something. And Striv just couldn't hold that plant down. There's too many operators all around him. You know, sometimes you just lose in that final 10-second flurry.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like I mentioned in the past, I said they need to be playing more aggressive, play with a little bit more confidence, and then they don't play with confidence. And then the next round, I'll say, okay, maybe that situation, they probably should have slowed it down a little bit. They got to pick and choose where they should actually be playing confident, and they should be playing aggressive, and what they shouldn't, and what they should be playing aggressive on. But in that situation, I guess they just didn't show enough confidence. I don't think the intel really went out. I don't know if it was just an issue on the attacking side or just the defenders were holding those angles too well for the attackers to actually figure out what to actually do with it. And I don't really know where to really go with that in that situation. But in the end, you really just got to blame the attackers for not outplaying the defenders, because that's just how this game comes down to. It's just You got to figure out how to break down the defenders as much as you can. You got to find those weaknesses. Like you see right here, Spicy Fish playing a little bit too aggressive. If they actually utilize that properly, see if they can take down those ADSs, try to nade him out while he's trying to play as aggressive as he is right now, maybe some sort of hope right now. But in this situation, then I don't really know how to feel about it because it's been pretty 50-50 of how they've been playing and what I've been requesting.
Yeah, it looks like pretty quick here, though. Sonar is going to open up Bakery for his team, and Cardboard 42 already opening up Prep. So that's a really good start here on that Bakery attack. I think it's really going to come down to how well like these secondary pushes go. These flashbangs are going to make it easy to clear that out, and Sonar still got those frags, so if he's not too busy opening up a little bit of a breaching hole with his Maverick gadget, then he might be able to frag Spicy Fish off of this spot and take out that shield. It doesn't look like he's defended by any Jaeger ADSs either. And once again, he's going to get traps there, but he's able to make it out a little sooner, so Spicy Fish isn't going to be trapped in frags like previously on Kitchen.
Yeah, that readjustment there was definitely the move right there. You don't want to get caught off in a 180-degree angle from both sides. Since if he was going to be trapped in that prep angle, he had nowhere to rotate if they actually did get that shield off. So the fact that he did rotate off of it was very well played by him and shows that he understands where he should be at certain times. So Spicy Fish actually be playing a little bit, still hasn't let up on that aggression. The Twitch drone's going out right now. They've just been made aware that the prep is currently clear, so they can make whatever push through there as they want, as long as they just have been made aware that the smoke is there. And that nitro cell was beautifully connected on the cardboard. Dropping diffuser in such an awkward spot then, and they're actually not going to be playing aggressive whatsoever, so they're going to easily be able to pick up that diffuser in that situation. I don't really know how they can really take this site unless they drone it out and win their gunfights. Sonar not really returning fire in the way that he really should be. He's just taking shots and try to find safe cover before he does anything else.
At this point, continuing to peek is going to be deadly. He's got 1 HP left, and I think like you were saying, that vertical presence is really what they need. Complexity is going to be fed another kill, and he is happy to sit here with his AUG, but he can't quite see Sully come in. Sully's going to make some work for his team, getting a double kill. He's got a location on a third. There's the kill coming out yet again. It's him against Dinky and Blobfish. He's going to need an ace to get this out, but he does have diffuser, and he's on a tear right now. He's free right now to put that diffuse down since he's taken all of the defenders off of him, and that's actually going to go down. This is going to open him up for a much easier defense. Blobfish just not seeing him. He's going to have to lie down, but Danky is going to come around behind. He's got the eyes, and there's a kill for Danky, finishing it up for the team and stopping that absolute tear that Sully was on.
Yeah, that tear was definitely what you wanted to see from the attacking side, especially in that situation. I have a couple notes, mainly because the fact that Sophia has not been made aware that both these operators left. One was Danky. I mean, the other guy was unknown to me, being the Wamai, but Danky still being on the board right now. He's going to be showing that aggression. That flank right there was exactly what they needed to win that round, because Blobfish was definitely probably not going to win that gunfight, especially with the HP that he had. But that being said, I also wanted to mention the fact that push trying to get that diffuser down just put the diffuser in such a horrible position. But the fact that Sully managed to actually bring it back, to an extent, they obviously didn't win the round in the end, but the fact that Sully actually did manage to bring it back there a little bit just shows that he actually does know what he can pick up those kills when he needs to. He knows how to isolate those 1v1s, and that awareness that they're really showing, that he rather is showing right now, is just he's a good player. You got to give him props for what he really did pull off there. The fact that he did not pay attention to the flank whatsoever, because that is always an open window. The Claymore has been triggered, so that Claymore is no longer there. He did get a kill off of it, and that was one flank off the board, but that doesn't mean that all the flanks are off the board. They have many roamers to their selective to what they're choosing. So I don't really know. You just gotta watch for those, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, we went into this map looking at Danky, looking for big things. He did not disappoint, but I think Blobfish really flew above what we were expecting. It was crazy with that 13-4 record on the first map. With that momentum, I think he's probably going to be the player that we're looking at in this next round as we head to Oregon on our next map.
Yeah, there's not going to be a break right now. We're just going to be heading straight into Oregon right now. A lot of people call it Oregon. I know. To an extent, I agree. Some of the plays that do come out of Oregon are a little bit cookie cutter. There is diversity in a lot of the plays, but I do agree with the fact that a lot of the plays are pretty much the exact same. Whenever it comes to kids room, the hard breachers typically split Maverick and Ace, or that Thermite and Maverick, or whoever. They split two hard breachers, one going to attic, trying to take that attic wall to apply pressure over there, because they need to split up those defenders as much as they can. They got to apply pressure from attic, and then they got to apply pressure from the master or closet wall. And if they can actually take that control and actually push forward as much as they can, take care of those roamers, bring out a nomad, got to cut off those flanks because those flanks were exactly what screwed them up when it came to Cafe. So they need to start cleaning up this play as soon as they can.
I know there are some criticisms for Oregon, but I like it a lot actually. I think it really lets you focus in on kind of the basics. You really get to see what teams are made of on Oregon because the meta is so well defined on this map that there's not too much you can do out of there. So you're not going to see too many crazy surprises, but I like the individual gunfights. I like seeing what you can do with that very straightforward meta. And whenever you see surprises come out, they're very surprising on Oregon. And of course, on the second floor objective, we got kids' dormitory and dormitory, which I think are great objectives for some really crazy clutch scenarios. So that's what I'm always looking for going here to Oregon. As far as the bans go,
yes, as far as the
yeah.
bans go right now, this is exactly, to an extent, besides the Habana, what I expected to see. I expected the Thatcher, a hard breacher, or one of the roam denials, but they haven't been utilizing the roam denial whatsoever. So I guess they don't really need to worry about that so far. And then there's the Kaid ban, exactly what I thought was going to come out if they had that little bit more VOD review in the past, if they actually been paying attention to how Danky's been playing this entire time. But apparently what I've heard, Danky is a mean Kaid. So the fact that the Kaid is off the table shows that he needs to, like I said before, he needs to move to someone else. And like as well, like I said before, he probably will not have an issue with it because he's been doing pretty well. He's been fragging out. He's been showing promise. So if he keeps that momentum, because we're going from map 1 to map 2, so that momentum's still there. He's not really going to be taking a break. So if they keep this up and actually, because the entire concept of this is they started off, they're going to be winning and losing 50-50 because they're going to be going 1-1, 2-1, probably 2-2, because they're learning their plays at that moment. So once they actually get an understanding of what is going to be coming down and how they're going to be playing, if they're aggressive, if they're going to be playing more defensive, if they need to switch up their play at certain times, that's what you'll see near the end of the game. But near the beginning of it, this is just them trying to clean up and understand how the defenders are going to be playing, how the attackers are going to be playing, and it just goes on from there.
On the momentum, like you were saying, this is going to be a nice situation for Oswego. They're going to stay on defense like they were at the end of this last map. And they had the last 2 rounds on round 10 and 11 to finish out the first Cafe Dostoevsky map. And they're going to keep on their defense, sort of staying in these comfortable positions. We're seeing complexity on that Wamaya again. And we're seeing Spicy Fish yet again playing Smoke on another really important shield pixel peak right here. He's going to be supported by Blobfish's Jaeger ADSs. And I think this will be an important spot because Concordia, I think, expected basement right off the bat. We see only 1 hard breacher being taken on Sully. And he's going to be important to see trying to get into bunker and open up that first bulkhead for his team to attack from.
Well, it's like I mentioned, this map is pretty cookie cutter. There's going to be ADSs there. There's going to be a shield in that 90-degree angle. There's probably going to be a smoke there. It's pretty rare that it's not there. So the fact that is entirely set up, they should already know what to do. They should know we got to get a throwable in there, burn that ADS, try to get that shield out of there, try to get that smoke to fall back as fast as we can, and so it won't be a problem to us later on the round. Like you see right there, the Zofia is already ready to burn that ADS as soon as he can. There you go. There's the first burn, and then hopefully we can actually make a connection to the shield right there, and it should be smooth sailing from there if they actually win this gunfight against Spicy Fish.
I don't think the timing quite winded up the right way to get that gridlock track stinger in there, but Striv has got the shield there. He's able to land his soft breaching charge. It was a little bit of a gambit to run up there, but there was enough of a barrage from both Sully and Poison Luck to open that up. They're still not getting quite into bunker, but looks like Spicy Fish has pulled off, and that's going to be really important for getting Sully in here to open up into E-Box.
Yeah, and they're wasting no time taking that control into construction right now. And Spicy Fish is still alive right now, so the fact that they made him push off, and I don't know if they actually got the reinforcement off to actually close off that rotate yet. I'm not entirely sure if that actually did go through, but the fact that Spicy Fish took little to no damage shows that he knows when to reposition. It shows that he knows that I'm in a very dangerous situation right now. I gotta fall back as soon as I can. And as you can see right now, Gridlock used all of her utility right now, so she has done what she needed to do. And at this point, she has become the secondary fragger, and she needs to actually start gunning and actually take these 1v1s as soon as while she can, and actually try to exploit their plays while they still can. Like you can see right there, the reinforcement actually did go through. The rotate has been cut off, and now it's just the toxic babes in the hand of Spicy. If he can actually waste as much time as he can with all these toxic babes, because he currently has 50 seconds remaining right now. So this could be smooth sailing if they actually block off that little box right there. and all they could really do in that situation is just worry about the hallway.
I was about to say, Concordia is really looking for that opening frag because Oswego is hunkering down, and there it comes out on J-Boss. It's a really good frag to have picked up. But 30 seconds left, that smoke left on the board still. It's hard to drop on E-Box, and Complexity is going to take out Cardboard for doing it. Sonar not letting him be lost in vain, but Complexity going down is going to leave Spicy Fish and Blobfish alone. There's the Fish going to have to clutch up against 4 members of Concordia. They had a lot of time to work with. It was going to be really crunchy for Concordia, but they weren't able to quite land it, and there goes Spicy Fish, Blobfish, the only member of Oswego left to deal with for Concordia players, and Sonar is going to get another one, finishing out round 1 for Concordia.
God, that was so sad to watch because the smoke grenade did go off. He managed to get it off, but the positioning of it was not correct to actually deny the diffuser plant. And because of that, they actually did get the diffuser down, and the smoke had to play aggressive to try to get that Ash before she actually got off the angle, because you got to get that trade off and actually try, because she should have been punished there. The fact that she was standing there for that long, she should have shown some sort of punishment, but there was no punishment whatsoever. And the fact that she got away with her life right there was very lucky on her part, and that's not what you want to see from the defending side whatsoever.
I think the job of Sonar and Cardboard 42 on that last round is not to be understated. There was a lot of utility play between the Sully, Poison Luck, and of course Striv on basement, but Sonar's got that hard breaching charge. He's able to open up E-Bot's hatch without taking too much utility up that way, and Cardboard 42 opened up the first kill with a laundry push on that Jackal, giving some intel and pushing off any roamers, really sticking Oswego all the way down into sight. And with that kind of pincer push between those two on the alternate sides and the bunker push finally coming through, it was a really clean execution that just left little room for error.
Okay, I have a question. So someone picked Maestro at the beginning of this, but then Six picked someone else. Who was it? Do you know?
Oh, I did not catch it.
Okay, I'm not entirely sure who it was, but I want to say it's Blobfish, mainly because of the intel pick onto Valkyrie. I want to say that's the reason why they swapped it off. But with Maestro at hand, Maestro is a very effective operator. His primary gun literally does not have a cap on his ammo. His gun, the damage on it is crazy. His intel, it's indestructible cameras, and the fact that they shoot lasers to actually take care of intel as well is insane. So the fact that he did switch off onto Valkyrie is an interesting selection. I get it's just personal preference probably, but Valkyrie's a very effective operator as well. I'm not gonna talk down on Valkyrie, but I feel like Maestro just in this situation. I haven't seen their strat book. I don't want to say anything, but the fact that they did switch that off is an interesting play.
Yeah, I really like the Maestro, but I won't complain about Blobfish on that Valkyrie again.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I also wanted to mention that the fact that they only have a thermite for the hard breach, so that means that they're not going to be splitting a push from Big Tower and Master. They're going to be focusing one singular wall, and it looks like the wall is actually going to be from Attic. So since they're not going to be splitting that pressure, there's going to be a little bit of pressure, and they're actually, I think that's what they're doing right now. I think that's why you did see that hole be opened up below closet wall, because they're adding that pressure, and they want to split up the defense as much as they can. But now that the thermite actually did open up the attic wall, they only have to really worry about that smoke right now. As you can see through the wall right there, those outlines, it's the smoke, and then the rotate off the Jaegers. All they really have to worry about in this situation when it comes to actually taking attic.
You said one hard breacher, but I guess we messed that up before, because Sonar is running that hard breaching charge. He's gonna run in without enough intel and run right into Bloodfish's gun. Bloodfish getting a little too confident there and losing himself to Cardboard, but Cardboard's really low. It's gonna be hard for him to take gunfights from now on, and they've lost that hard breach to open up the closet wall. I do think that instead of taking Sonar's, oh, that was an interesting shotgun use, but instead of taking Sonar with the breaching charge on Buck, maybe an Ace would be a better pick there for an even more effective gun. And if you're choosing him over Buck anyways, it doesn't feel bad to throw breaching charges, those Ace Summas at soft walls. You may as well. You've got a better gun and some more flexibility there. This attic push is going very effectively though. Sully kind of stuck on that hard wall that's been put up into attic and kids dormitory. That was a nice way of pulling off pretty early from Spicy Fish, recognizing his situation yet again. That's been great situational awareness that we've seen from Spicy Fish.
Yeah, bring it down to the 30 seconds right now. the attackers really got to start making a move right now. There's even, and J-Boss is still taking the time with the 30 seconds remaining. Instead of defending site, he's working on the flank. And that Claymore placement is definitely not going to be very helpful towards it. Because now that he's behind him right now, the call didn't go out. The audio doesn't go out either. He actually does manage to pick up 1 kill in the process. Poison getting dropped almost instantaneously from J-Boss. 10 seconds remaining. That pressure that's being applied from behind means that this round is pretty much over for the attackers right now. As Jay is actually going to be taken down on the process, actually switching it around. But since the site is actually being held as well as it is right now, the diffuser will not be planted, and that's just going to be the end of the round for the attackers.
I love that J-Boss plays slow flanks. You don't see that very often. You usually see people like flanking for frags. What they want to do is, take out like a Claymore in that kind of situation and run up and just dome 3 guys in the back of the head and clutch it up for the team. But J-Boss is more patient and I think more effective. That's a really consistent way to play. He's taking out that Claymore almost silently. No one's got attention to him. And he picks up 1 kill and immediately pulls off behind cover. He knows that he's going to be just about impossible to kill with 10 seconds left on the clock. And if anyone tries to, it doesn't matter if he dies because the diffuser's not going down. They can't run all the way back to the beginning of Attic, then go back and get the diffuser and then plant. It's just ensuring the win for his team. If they ignore him as well, their option is to lose or to lose. They ignore him and he'll come up eventually and get you in the back of the head again.
Yeah, it comes to Gridlock. Yes, Gridlock is actually a really good operator because the utility that she does bring, it's huge. She has a 3 armor. Her primary gun's pretty effective. She has 3 track stingers. She has smoke grenades. Everything that she brings to the table it's valid. It's valid. I have no problem with it. But personally, when it comes to the Nomad pick, you gotta bring it because those claymores that they're placing down, yes, they're covering it for a certain amount of time, and it does waste the time for like 2-3 seconds because you saw Bandit could easily get an angle onto that Claymore and shot it almost instantaneously. Their placements have not been efficient whatsoever for actually dealing with those roams, and just the shot, that one singular shot that goes off is not enough audio to actually to bring any serious attention over to their flank. So that's why the Nomad is so effective. It releases this giant boom that tells you, hey, there's a roamer. So the fact that there is a Claymore just set up and that's all their flank watch is, it's not going to be effective, especially since they aren't setting it up properly.
It looks like we're going with 1 hard breacher yet again and the secondary hard breaching gadget on sonar. Not much changes from Concordia. Like you were mentioning, it's looking pretty solid. They're on their comfort picks and heading back basement here. Oswego's feeling pretty confident about this. They won this last round. They got some momentum, and it was pretty close last time. As long as they can maintain those early picks and not get collapsed on so hard, this could be their round.
It definitely can, and I like how the smoke actually waits to use those canisters, because since that shield is going to be taken care of almost instantaneously, there's going to be no reason to actually use those smokes, because those smokes only do a very small amount of ticks at a time. So those fast little, quick, 1 second decisions from the Zofia to actually just peek, shoot the shield instantaneously, fall back, it's not going to make that much of an impact. So the fact that he is saving those canisters for later on in the round, I like that play, and I like that he does have the awareness that those smokes will make no difference unless he actually just holds it out for the end, and he just has to save them up for that plant denial.
I've spoken to it before, but I really love Spicy Fish's situational awareness. It's so important playing like a forward support operator, like these smoke placements on Pixel and Bunker. So just huge props to Spicy Fish. I love seeing support players excel in their role, not necessarily needing to take so many frags, but just adding that value and time off the clock. Kaaroh 42 is our first loss from Concordia, Wisconsin. That's going to hurt, especially seeing how much impact he had on the first round on the basement push. There's a self-flash from Striv, and he's got to push up against a shotgun right here. I don't think he knows that there's a shotgun. He knows there's an operator, but that Mossberg could spell disaster for him.
Yes, solely taking care of a kill of his own. Blobfish getting taken down in the process as well. The kills that are coming from the attackers right now are exactly what they want to see in this 45-second situation, because Cardboard was taken down very early on in the round. And taking 2 more defenders in their favor is exactly what they want to see, and they actually need to start taking a little bit more control of the downstairs. The control that they have right now is actually fine. Sonar picking up another kill into Danky, so that's going to be huge with the 30 seconds counting down, and Spicy Fish is going to be the last one remaining in the 1v4.
Spicy Fish's smoke's finally coming out, but he's kind of stuck with a subpar gun against that C7 8SW, and Sonar's going to take that for the team. They lost the first frag on Concordia, but they were able to really cleanly just take out any of the outskirts anchors and then just corral the final anchors into one little spot where there's no way of getting out. Spicy Fish really didn't stand a chance there. He was on the other side of objective. He'd have to push through just about every attacker to actually stop a plant.
Yeah, I'm sorry to put you in that situation there, because I thought that the smoke was going to play a little bit more defensive there instead of just swing straight into the hallway, and I didn't mean to leave you on that that 5-second cast for the end of the round. I thought that it would last a little bit longer, so I sent it over to you, but that's not what happened. Interesting 6 pick there. Very, very useful. I like the idea there to actually fake him out with the Capitao and then go straight back to the Capitao. I don't really know what they're really going to be doing with that, but but I guess they were about to 6 picks. It was probably in the comms. They're probably like, we need this, and then the other half of the team was probably just like, no, keep the Capitao, and that's exactly what they did. And if they do, I'm actually curious how they're going to be implementing the Capitao bolts, because typically the only time you see like a necessary Capitao bolt to actually take care of wall denial is when you see it on Clubhouse. You'll see them bring in Habana, they'll open up the bottom garage wall, and then they'll shoot the Capitao bolt directly into CC wall. And they'll take the bandit directly off the wall, so there's no more bandit tricking. So that's typically where you see it. That's where you see most of the play come from the Capitao. But I want to see if they have any sort of big brain plays when it comes to the Capitao on this map. And I can't wait to see this map just unravel, or this round rather.
I think it's interesting to see Cardboard 42 pick up another hard breaching charge, putting 4 hard breaching gadgets on the attack total.
Oh yeah.
So far, Sonar has been the secondary hard breacher, although he's been piling up a phenomenal fragging roll, being the first pick on second round and still picking up 7 kills in the other 2 rounds that he's been on the board. I think he would have made a different story for round 2 if he'd been able to stay on the board at this rate.
Yeah, Oswego is actually bringing out the 2 nitro cells as well. This map isn't very vertical, so the fact that they are bringing those nitro cells, and they're not bringing in as many, because last time they brought 3, so as long as they're bringing 2, and both operators that they're bringing are effective nonetheless, so it's not going to be that big of a deal that they're just bringing those nitro cells compared to any other gadget. So I like that they're actually distributing that properly, and they're actually switching it up to actually secondary gadgets that they need, because the Wamai has the impacts, and the Legion has the impacts. 3 impacts have been used for rotates right now, but the last one still hasn't been in use. So they are putting it to use. They have reasons behind these impacts compared to like remember what you saw when I was mentioning the Malusi, because they could have brought a nitro cell throughout the entire map of Cafe, but she never used the impacts whatsoever. So that's a waste of a gadget slot, as I feel. And that's why you don't really want to see, you got to use the utility to its full ability during these rounds, like while you can, when you see an opportunity to actually use the abilities. And that's what you want to see. But if it doesn't come out, and then it's unfortunate.
We're not seeing just about any Oswego presence on the western side of the map. Easily seeing a lot of presence to Concordia. There we saw Cardboard 42 open up a wall with his secondary hard breaching charge, and that's eyes into sight for a couple operators between Sully Cardboard 42 and 1 more behind them there in Small Tower. Saw some good presence. We'll see what their secondary push is actually managing for the team. I see. Oh, that's an interesting little thing to do. Spicy Fish playing above, so he's going to actually stop that push if they're able to, or if they try and get into kitchen without clearing him out. J-Boss off the board is going to sort of lose some pressure on that flank. But Spicy Fish is doing just what he was sent there to do, holding from above with that T5 SMG.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan to say that someone's carrying. Danky actually using that shotgun quite well. He was applying pressure pretty well there. He wasn't getting aggressive to peek that angle. He wasn't ready to pick up a kill. He wasn't getting greedy, but he was sitting there ready for that shotgun opportunity, and that's exactly what came to him. Sonar picking up a headshot and then slowly gets taken down directly afterwards, bring it to a 2v3 situation. Danky, if he holds this just like he did taking care of that diffuser's down, that he doesn't have to worry about it anymore. So the fact that Strav is still alive right now and currently in this situation, I don't think the attackers have any chance to win this round.
I love that Danky is rendering most of this push entirely useless with just a shotgun. And there's 2 holes, 2 lines of vision on him. Striv is going to pick up a nice kill there, but he's against 2 guys. He's got 6 seconds left, and the diffuser's been watched for a while. They've got intel on that, and they're content to hold some tight corners with that 416C and MP5K. That's a nice low place to plant there, but the knife's going to come out in complexity, showing up yet again for Oswego.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't really have any knowledge of where they were in that situation, but if I was him, I would have just stopped defusing. Save the KD, man. Just save the KD, man. But the fact that he did get that pre-fire onto Spicy was well played, because the intel went through, the comms went through, so his position has been made aware. The diffuser got picked up instantaneously they did have 5 seconds remaining, so that the time issue was the only thing that they really needed to switch up, because the time it took them to really take it, the only time they really start making decisions is those last second situations. And sometimes the decisions kind of just need to be made during the round, because you need to make that, you got to take that control while you can, you got to get the diffuser down while you can. And you could see that they are patient. The defenders are very, very patient. You saw that they were sitting back. They were waiting for the audio call of the plant to go down, because they knew that there was 5 seconds remaining. They knew that they could sit back and take their time. So that's exactly what you want to see, and that's exactly what they did. So you got to give props to the defensive side right now.
Oswego's now heading back upstairs after a nice successful hold on Meeting Hall. It's not a terrible place to get a win, because that's not one of your first 2 sites. You definitely want to be second floor and basement before having to deal with any of the first floor objectives. And we're back to seeing Concordia have to find a way through Oswego's defense up here. They played Attic very well, taking those early opportunities to leave the fight in Attic and just hold the tight angles by the core of site. Looking at games room, dormitories, and kids' dormitories, we've got a lot of little tight corners around those corridors. You can look like right where complexity is right now. We've got a lot of these tight lines of site that are really easy to hold if you stop the attackers from actually getting in, except from a couple of those doorways.
Drop the bomb diffuser. Attackers recovered the diffuser.
They bring the smoke. They have both the German operators, and then they have the Wamai. That's been stuck. That lineup right there has been stuck for I don't know how many rounds, but I have seen it quite a few times. So the fact that they're sticking to that, I mean, that lineup that's solid. That's a solid lineup right there. They have both shotguns. They've been playing those shotguns pretty well. Both the German operators are really, really efficient operators as well. Both their main gadgets do their jobs. They're one of the more, they are the efficient, or the go-to operators in almost every single map. They are staples to every single map. So, and as long as they have the Wamai there as well, he can actually be the secondary line of defense for the Jaeger ADS. So that lineup right there is solid. You could bring that lineup to almost every single site, unless you want to bring more deployable shields. Exactly, that's what you see from the smoke as well. So they bring almost everything to the table. 2 nitro cells, the impact grenades. They bring barbed wire. They bring the shield. So that whole lineup right there, solid. You can't really say much about it. The attacking side, you don't really see much change up anyway, because you kind of have to stick to the same operators, because you don't really know what site they're really going to be picking. So you can't bring an operator that's specifically important for one site. And this map itself, you see hard breach on every single site. So what you see right here, it doesn't need any changing. The Capitale did switch off, I think, a couple times, but the Buck bring the secondary hard breach, that's fine. The Thermite, I feel like they should actually be bringing a second hard breach to actually split it up a little bit more, because with that being said, you can actually split a lot more if you do notice that their main hard breacher is actually being focused on one part of the map compared to another.
I'm liking the effectiveness of this push this time. CUW is actually getting the opportunity to get in on both of the breaches that they're wanting to open up. They've got Closet and they've got Attic without losing any players. Danky down for the count, and Blobfish has been stimmied. He's one of the top fraggers for Oswego, and he just hasn't had the opportunity to get himself a fight. He's been waiting for operators to push up by Armory, and even now it's not going to happen. And he's drone down now. It's just getting him to be a worse and worse situation here for Oswego. 45 seconds left, so Concordia is going to have to make a move, losing their first player, but trading out. Now is the time for pushing up Armory, it looks like. And I think we're going to see a flurry of kills here, because there just hasn't been enough ground taking close to site, although there's some important bulkheads opened up.
See, in this exact situation, solely drops the Blobfish because he was pushing solo. There's no trade. He's still there. The pressure is still being applied. Complexity picks up one of his own, and then Blobfish picks up a second one. You cannot keep it the way it is right now, especially with the 10 seconds remaining. It's a 1v3 situation. I mean, yes, he has the LMG. That's a very effective weapon, but they're going to be playing it slow. The only person that's going to be playing it very aggressive right now is going to be the Jaeger. The shots are going to connect. The smoke grenades are going to be doing a lot of damage right now, and it doesn't matter. The time's going to go out before it even kills him. That just shows you how little time he had left. The smoke grenade couldn't kill him before the timer went out. So in that situation, I wanted to mention that the fact that the Jaeger was still in the armory, that it doesn't matter if you lose a life. You need to get a trade there. You need to have one person push in. If he wins the gunfight or not, if he wins the gunfight, great. If you lose the gunfight, they need someone else to follow up with another one to get him out of there, because that pressure being applied there, that's too dangerous to actually take site without any sort of punishment with keeping that Jaeger there. So the fact that they just left him there, that was their downfall. They could not waste any time with that. They need to get the trade off and then get right back to site and start defusing, or get the diffuser down.
I've been really liking the Concordia attacks. It's not quite what you'd be expecting for Oregon, But the problem is they keep losing steam halfway through the round. Like right before the execution should be where you look the best, especially with these really fast and effective early rounds. We saw all of the utility dealt with immediately on closet side. Sonar went below, shotgunned out those bandit charges, but it took too long to actually get a hard breaching charge in master bedroom to open up the closet wall. And like the bandit was able to just put another bandit charge down. J-Boss just said, oh, okay, well, you guys taking a while. I guess I can just put my shock wires down again. And Sonar by this time was already upstairs, so we couldn't deal with them a second time, and Closet remained closed, even though they dealt with all of the utility in the first 45 seconds of the round. That's just losing steam unnecessarily. Like, I know that they're better than that. They can get through that utility, and they can use that to get the mid-round. In addition, they just didn't take Attic. It took way too long to get into Attic after opening up that breach. And it was just utility and time in the early round that didn't do anything in the mid or late round for the team. Hopefully Concordia can fix that up this round and set themselves up for a good second half by at least evening up the count. Oswego's got a nice advantage here. This is what they're looking for if they can get this last round for that 4-2 split on their defense.
Have they brought a Maestro yet? Is this the first time we've seen a Maestro?
I think it's the first Maestro.
All right, well, I expected to see the Maestro because they didn't ban it this time. So, or whoever didn't ban it this time. I forgot which team banned it last time, but they didn't ban it this time. So the fact that they are not, that they haven't been bringing it this entire time compared to now is, I like to see that. And I can't wait to see J-Boss, because J-Boss has been doing pretty decent throughout all these maps. Not compared to Sonar right now. That dude's dropping 9-3 right now. 9-3 right now. So
I'm going insane.
Yeah.
It's just not impactful kills though.
Yeah. Mainly, it's just more impactful. He needs to work on just because like he's sitting back on site there. I mean, he's playing it well. His defense is well. Like he hasn't been dying. Actually, no, he's died the most. I was gonna say he hasn't been dying too much, but he has actually died the most. Never mind, I take that back. I was gonna say because like these people, they sit on site. They've been playing it slow. They've been playing it how they should be playing it with the small time that the attackers have been given, because they take a very slow amount of time to actually start taking site, and the ground that they're covering takes way too long.
There's another early kill for Concordia University of Wisconsin. They've got Danke off the board. He's been doing a lot to hold up those tight angles with his Mossberg. It's really impressive shotgun play. It takes a lot of skill to effectively run that shotgun. Cardboard landing another one inside on Spicy Fish. This is some bold plays, walking right through sight, and he's looking for yet another pick. He's tired of losing these mid-rounds. They're going to go fast and hard. 1 minute and 14 seconds left, but J-Boss playing from below is going to pick up one for his team. Even to get up a little bit, but it's still looking a little rough for Oswego. There's a lot of presence above them and a lot more operators on tech, or one more operator on tech.
Yeah, Sonar being the person that I didn't want to say that he's a carry, because I mean he's popping off right now, but he's showing that he will not be holding back. His aggression, his confidence, and his gunplay right now is absolutely flawless. So the fact that he is off the table right now gives the defenders a little bit more of an advantage right now. Even though that it is a 3v4 situation, I feel like they can still pull it off, because that, like I said, that Alda that Maestro has been given, that he can take out every single one of these attackers and not have to reload once. So I don't think they'll really have much of an issue with that.
Nice. That's a bit of an oversight from Concordia, not closing up that door. Bloodfish was able to just walk right out into Big Tower, which is one of those places that you really need to have held up, because it can just get shot through the floor if you're trying to thermite trick open the wall into kitchen. And that's going to hurt, losing a lot of time from that thermite trick that you were really needing to get into push. And Concordia's got 5 seconds without having any real pressure into sight at this point. There's a nice frag, but it's just not going to pull it out. Defenders get to win it by time.
Yeah, it's just another one of those rounds that you just gotta bring up again, because I don't care if they're VOD reviewing or something like that. I gotta bring it up again. Hey, you need to figure out the time that it takes to actually take these areas. You got to take more map control at a much faster pace. You just saw that again. You ran out of time. It was a 3v4 situation. You had the picks. You should have kept up with that momentum and then pushed into sight while you still could. I mean, you got to get that intel in, you got to get the positioning in, you got to give the callouts while you still can, because you got to work off those callouts while you still can, because if you don't take advantage of those 1v1s, then you're not going to be making it very far into sight whatsoever.
All right, I think we're getting a rehost here, as we're going to be seeing a player sub out. Both teams have agreed to it. It's a little not super routine, but we do see it sometimes. Both teams being sportsmanlike, I guess, allowing that switch. Not a huge concern. I appreciate that from the other team.
Yeah, you gotta appreciate the fact that these people are actually like, hey, we're here to have fun. We're not here to win. We're here to just like, hey, I want to win this legitimately. I don't care if you're gonna be subbing out. You gotta. I want to actually earn this. We got to earn this win, you know. So I really do like to see that. I like to see that both teams show that sportsmanship, like you said, and if they continue to show that sportsmanship through the end of the round, hopefully no garbage gets thrown back and forth verbally, but we'll see what happens from here.
Yeah, really respectful of that sportsmanship. I know we've talked about it for the last couple rounds, but I think it really is the focus. Because Oswego has managed to get three very convincing wins on that defense in a row, leaving themselves with that 4-2 wins on defense. It's a nice, solid win-loss there, especially right now when Oregon is looking a little closer to even than ever before. The defense is not nearly as strong overall as we've seen for a couple years. So this is not a terrible opportunity for Oswego. I mean, it's a very good opportunity for Oswego, and we've seen really clean attacking rounds from them on Cafe. So this is a great head start for them on Concordia, and Concordia has had a rough time attacking, so maybe they'll be able to switch it up on defense for themselves.
Yeah, and the fact that they are rehosting right now, what was the round score at? I entirely forgot.
We're at 4-2 in Oswego's favor.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want to see. Like from Cafe, what I mentioned before, Oswego is probably going to be coming out on top just from the pure awareness that I've seen, not just the awareness, the plays that I've seen come out of them as well. If they continue with that momentum, I will not drop that momentum because like that's what you need to actually win these rounds. Because if you do not, if you take off that one player, that one roamer, you got to figure out what you got to do about the other ones because that timer is still ticking. Like that timer is not stopping for you to figure out what you want to have to do next. You have to continue going. So that's exactly what I feel the problem is with the attackers right now. And since they cannot actually take advantage of those situations when they see that those situations have been given to them, like I'm going to bring back a situation back on Cafe. When that Jaeger was still in dining room, there was 3 attackers around him. He got a little bit of damage off on the ace. There was no call out. There were shots off on the ace. The ace did not give the call out. The Capitail was peeking the incorrect angle because that call out didn't go out and almost lost his life because of it. But a lot of damage did get sent over to the Capitail, and the IQ had to take care of him. But the IQ even took a while to peek him as well. That's a lot of time off their hands and a lot of damage specifically for the attacking side. Even though that the Jaeger did lose his life, it was enough damage for the attacking side to the point where I would consider those both 2 kills.
Yeah. I think it's interesting as far as the anatomy of the round goes. We've seen Concordia have really strong early rounds and then just not quite do what they need to do with that early advantage. Oswego, on the other hand, they sometimes have problems getting those opening picks. Concordia really consistently getting those opening picks, but Oswego has really clean executes, and I think that's really where we're going to be seeing them shine, especially now that they get to show that on their attack. Although Concordia has some interesting strats that we've seen on Cafe, so I'm looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, overall, both teams have been showing every single play has been pretty 50-50. Like I'll say, oh, this play's been pretty well. They've been focusing on this part of their play, and it's been flawless so far. And then the next round, my caster's curse kicks in, and then they don't do it as well. So
Yeah.
it's been 50-50. It's been 50-50, and I don't want to say that both of them have really. They've definitely been thriving, especially who was the player? Who was the player that had 9 kills? And I said was carrying. It was shoot. He's not in the lobby right now. I'm pretty sure. I think he had a sub out. It was the
Oh
Buck the
no.
entire time.
Yes, it's Sonar. There we go.
Sonar, yeah, thank you. So Sonar, he was doing great. His confidence, like I said, he had that momentum. He had the confidence. He continued to push forward, and he did not let up when he saw an opportunity that was given to him to actually get into a gunfight and win that gunfight. Because yes, he's soft breach. Yes, he has that secondary hard breach. Because yes, he is a very important operator in those situations. But since he did win those gunfights and the aggression did come out, but he had enough of that confidence and he had that skill to actually get into those gunfights and actually exploit those weaknesses that he spotted on the defending side.
Now that you pointed out, we've got just about all the players back in the lobby after this sub, but that is very worrisome for Concordia right now. Sonar's been on an absolute tear, really making this map his own, if not winning all of these rounds. I think he ended with a 9-3 record, which is, or maybe not
I
quite
feel
a
like it was.
good
I feel like it was a little bit
probably.
more because that was like a couple rounds before we actually
Yeah.
did do the rehost. But yeah,
Uh,
he was going on a tear though. I can say that much.
but just a crazy KD. We're talking at least 3.0 by the end of that, and having to lose that player who's been sort of handing the team those winning rounds on round 1 and round 3. It's really a question of what the sub is able to do. Will he be able to fill those shoes, and will the rest of the team come up to meet that kind of hole that's left on this map?
Yeah, that's why I don't like saying someone's carrying, because every single person has a role. They're executing the roles pretty well. Like, there's not really an issue with what they're doing to an extent, besides just like I mentioned before, the time that they're taking to actually take care of map control. But what they're doing to an extent, it's not that big of a deal. So just taking off that one player, yes, he's been fragging very well, but there's still the rest of the team that's giving those call outs. They're droning out. They're setting up a scene for him. And if he's fragging out, he can't be droning and fragging out the whole time unless I'm missing something, unless he truly is carrying his own weight with the call outs, with the frags. Because Zofia has been stunning them. He's been pushing forward. I don't think he has a secondary hard breach on, so he doesn't have the flashbangs at hand unless he's just straight up peeking these with just himself and no flashbang to support, no drone to support. Then great, he's doing great. Then yes, he is carrying, but there's no way he's just doing it by himself.
Yeah, he has been doing really well, and he's been splitting a lot of the times. So my imagination is that Cardboard 42, the other split pusher usually playing that Jackal in these prior rounds, is probably doing some droning for the benefit of Sonar. Otherwise, Sonar is just really a one-man army.
Oh yeah, he's definitely shown that he can. He pulled up to this game and showed, like, hey guys, you better back off, because like I mentioned, like, their confidence wasn't there in the first place. But then when Sonar pulled up and he's just like, hey, that confidence that you're kind of building up right now, yeah, I'm just gonna shove that down there. That's not happening. So I mean, like, you love to have a player on your team that can do that and actually make some of the defending side scared to peek you. But then there's those operators that are just like, I'm still going to peek you, even though, yes, you have 9 kills right now. I'm going to peek you. And because they're the times that you should be peeking and you should be wasting that time. You should be applying that pressure. Because Blobfish, when he was holding that armory, the rest of the team did not decide to peek him because they just didn't have the guts to do it. And like I said, if you lose that first player, it doesn't matter as long as there's a trade in place, because you need to take care of him and get that plant done. You got to have priorities. Yes, you would lose much more of a man advantage than you did in the first place, but it's just what you got to do to win the round.
In that specific opportunity, we saw someone on rappel right outside armory window and some players right outside main door. That was a perfect opportunity to pinch Blobfish and take a really powerful fragger off the board. Even if you're trading, that's pretty worth it. If you've got someone on the rappel, peek it, and then pull up on the stairs, because he's going to have to be distracted by that window. He can't be facing 2 directions at once. It would just require a crazy flick, and the odds are in your favor. That's not a 50-50. You're taking really good odds to take a top fragger off the board right there.
Oh yeah.
Another
Yeah.
interesting bit of
Sorry.
information that I noticed actually looking over my notes. Concordia actually won their 2 round wins were on basement, so they won both of their basement rounds played, and that means that Oswego actually recognized that and they switched off of basement. They didn't go back there. That final round of their defense we actually saw on dining, which is an objective they hadn't gone before, and one that they didn't need to go. They had some options there, but that was a nice reaction to it, and I think that speaks a little bit to Concordia's attack, that they were able to really lock down that basement objective.
I believe that some of the stats have just been pulled up on stream, and I believe he did just end it. Let's see right here. Sonar, yeah, he ended it on 9-4 right now. He ended it on 9-4. Sully ended at 4-4. Poison 0-3. Strive 2-2. Cardboard 4-5. So I wish this showed assists, because I wish there was some sort of concrete evidence that these players have been showing up, and yes, they've been making contact with players, but just because they're dying doesn't mean that the work that they did is not crucial to the end of the round. Yeah, so what I'm seeing right there, I wish it did show assist in that little bit of that analyst app, but sadly it does not. But that being said, like, just because he has that many kills, I'm not going to drop that. He didn't do that on his own, so I don't want to say that he was carrying.
Yeah,
do a very good job.
I think we're still waiting on our last homie getting on in here. I think and maybe it's getting off of some prior engagement here real quick and running back to the PC to come help out his team.
Yeah, right. He needs to get off work, drive home as fast as he can.
Sprint home.
Yeah,
all the way down the street.
They called him up real quick, and they couldn't get into contact before Sonar had to leave. They had to get the phone up, like, "Yo, you ready?"
We need you right now.
Yeah, we need you right now. I know we didn't give you
Need
any
reinforcements.
sort of heads up. I mean, hey, I mean, I don't want to take my spot. I'll play for him. Where's Inferno at? No, he's watching.
I'd be too sad without you. So lonely.
Hey, yeah, you'll love. I'll get Inferno in here, and he'll love casting with you. I'll play for him real quick, right? Yeah, so I think reading this right now, they're currently getting him set up on the NECC Discord right now. So he is ready, but he just needs to get all the roles set up so he can actually get into the chat and get ready, get those comms going, because those are crucial for these competitive matches. So once he gets in there, I feel like we should be able to start it up. But currently, right now, he's not in the game either, so we do have a little bit of time until we actually get into the match.
Yeah, it looks like we'll have a little bit of an unknown factor. Our final player has not actually played in NECC quite yet. He hasn't had his first chance, so this will be a nice first showing. This is a really good opportunity to show up for Concordia, and if our last player can turn it around for the team, like we'll notice, we'll know.
Yeah, we'll know. And
No
one of
pressure.
the things I want to bring up, because you don't really see too much play when it comes to around like a competitive standpoint. You want to see operators that are not orthodox, and you want to see operators that aren't played as much because people don't really know how to counter them compared to like when it comes to Tachanka. Tachanka apparently has been made available to the play now. I'm not entirely sure if it's with NECC rules, but that has been made elsewhere in other leagues so far. So Tachanka being made available, he's, I feel, to an extent just a watered down smoke. Not too much, because he's still an efficient operator. Because I feel like his main gun, yes, it packs a punch, but the fire rate is around the speed of the UMP. So a lot of people aren't really a big fan of his primary gun, but when it comes to the utility that he brings to Tachanka, the area control that he has, like Smoke does, he does that, but he can waste so much more time because the amount of ammo that he has, the time that it takes for those charges to actually wear off, it's crazy. So the incendiary grenades, I feel, are a great add-on to Tachanka's character himself, and the fact that some people aren't really, I guess some people just got to incorporate him to their plays later on in the future because he's just now been made available. But since he has been made available, I want to see more plays actually come out of him. Same thing going for Ayana and Zero. Those two operators are insane, and the utility that they bring, I feel like it could change a lot for many different teams in competitive.
Yeah, like you mentioned with Tachanka, he's definitely legal. I was thinking, I was like, there's got to be like an 80-90% if I remember from the rule book quite correctly. But production here, Patrick has confirmed with me that definitely he's in.
Yes.
We keep seeing that Smoke though. If they really want to go for that double area denial, there's a lot of potential there. Although you're going to be losing out on some of your utility. Speaking of some sort of off meta picks, Cardboard 42 coming right out with the Oryx.
Yeah. I didn't want to like cut you off, but I wanted to bring it up as soon as I could. I'm like, okay, there's two
I'm seeing
operators.
it too.
Yeah, I'm like, there's two operators right now that aren't really the most effective because Echo's recent nerf has completely just thrown him to the ground, I feel, because his drones, like what made them so powerful was the invisibility, the invisibility that they had. Now that they no longer have that, they can actually be taken care of a lot quicker, and just it's just a simple gadget at this point. Because like I've seen in the past, every time that they used Echo, I believe it was Poison last game as well, because it was on Cafe, he used it for the wrong reasons. It should be on site. Since it has been made visible, it should be on site, last second situation. He should be using it for plant denial. Because of its visibility now, it should not be used to stun operators. That's not what it should be used for. Because like it was in Cigar, when they were in Cigar, if the drone was on the ceiling and it was invisible, stunned once, they didn't have to move it. They could probably just keep it there because they were locked in a gunfight. So if it was just to stun them, went back invisible again, then they would have to continue searching for it after the fact that they either won or lost the gunfight. So that's what made him so powerful. But now that it's visible 24/7, you have to stun him, drop it from the ceiling, move out of the way, and that just makes it even more visible because not only audio, but it's a giant disc flying across the floor. I'm pretty sure that someone might be able to just shoot it almost instantaneously when they see it. But when it came to Echo using the stuns in the first place, none of the attackers were in a gunfight. He was just stunning them just to stun them. So he needs to calm down. Like, he doesn't need to jump the gun on any of those. So once he figures out that he just needs to take a step back on that, then I feel like he can actually become a more efficient Echo in the future.
Yeah, with Warlord here, our new operator, taking the place of Sonar, of course. We haven't taking note of this play.
Wait, what did I
whoa.
just see? What did I just see? Did he just slam through the wall straight
Just
into
right
IQ?
onto Bloodfish. I guess
that's a beautiful engagement.
Bloodfish, no doubt, is quite happy with that. Getting a chance to up his IQ KD yet again. Already, players proved himself very capable in that role. Unfortunately, we're not really going to get to see much of Cardboard 42's play on that Oryx this round. Maybe we'll wait till next time we come to second floor. But as you're saying, Poison Luck on that Echo. I do also hope to see a little more passive play that way, especially with Warlord on those Valkyrie cams. You know, bringing that kind of forward intel for the team. That way they don't have to focus so far forward and risk losing Echo Yokai drones, since they're so good at that plan denial.
Yeah, and if they keep those drones on site, then they'll probably be able to win this round very easily. As long as that Echo is still alive, he's playing as defensive as he can, then they probably won't have too much of an issue with it. But I want to ask you a question real quick. Did you see the cinematic for this Zero, like the animated cinematic?
Yeah.
Yeah, so remember the scene
Man's
where he shot the cam straight into a wall, then he flipped it around and saw orcs charging right through the wall?
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened to IQ there, because she was scanning through the wall and then just, hey, what's up?
There's another aggressive push, and yet another one. J-Boss getting a couple kills off of players that kind of walked right up ahead of him. What a weird situation for Warlord. The last member of their team left and just surrounded by attackers, totally oblivious to his position there. I just feel so bad the knife didn't even connect. What a weird hitbox on the knife that should have been. I mean, a reasonable knife, probably a double kill right there.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Was interesting. Okay, first of all, the reaction time for most of the attacks there was a lot of shots going off, and I'm pretty sure some of those bolts connected with Sophia as well. And she didn't make like a flick or anything until she got into attic. So it was interesting to watch because the Valkyrie didn't continue to shoot at the Zofia while she was running away. She decided to run in with her and then try to knife in the process. Interesting play considering that the man advantage was as where it was, so the fact that Warlord decided to focus on the Zofia even when she ran out of sight was an interesting play. I'm not gonna knock it because clearly he had something going on in his head to the point to where he felt like he could have won that, and I'm not gonna say anything against it because if you feel like what you're doing is correct, then more power to you, and you shouldn't let up on that. But now that they're going to be playing downstairs, it has been a side switch now. So like you mentioned before, for the opposite team, it was Oswego. They played downstairs and they were flawless on the basement hold. And when it comes to the basement hold, there's so many angles to watch, and the way that you need to distribute not only your players but your utility as well, it's immense. So the fact that they are winning that as the defenders, I really like to see that, and I can't wait to see how I forgot the name. Concordia? Yeah, sorry. They kind of just slipped from my name. They just slipped from my head right there. Concordia. I can't wait to actually watch how they play through it and see if they can actually Oswego can actually counter this site as well as they can play it.
That last round it was not a great start for Concordia. Obviously, that was a pretty fast round with not a lot of resistance, but it kind of felt like Concordia's walking into attackers. I mean, we definitely saw the first one with Oryx. And it looks like Cardboard 42 has switched off of the Oryx onto Jaeger, and hopefully you'll be able to play a little tighter here and have a little more intel up ahead. As we go starting off by getting some solid bulkheads here, J-Boss, very successful player so far, is pushing up on Z from the garage there, and Cardboard 42 is not going to overextend himself. He knows that there's an operator looking for him up there, and he's just going to go for a rotation. Not a lot of attack from bunker though from Oswego so far.
Yeah, I said that they need to distribute their players correctly and get those flank or get those roamers out, get the utility spread out. But they currently just had under sitting in freezer, and that is not where you need 3 defenders because it's such a small angle. One person being like a smoke or something like that can hold that angle like it's nothing. So if they just had a smoke set up there with a shield, that's a utility burner, and not only that, but that's a lot of time and pressure added onto as well because it's a small angle. If you just held with a shotgun, then there would be no issue. But they currently had, well, they had at least 3 defenders in there. And now you see that the roamers are actually coming out right now a little bit late because they actually did make entry before they even got there.
I'm liking seeing Sully getting that intel from above, sort of kiting or tailing from behind. He's seen Spicy Fish and heard him, but Spicy Fish actually has a bit of intel on Sully. This might be a bit of a surprise to turn this and find him, but looks like Spicy Fish has opted to go elsewhere. Sully has a lot of opportunity here, and he's going to make that happen with Spicy Fish exposing himself once again. Now Sully's got a nice opportunity to head off somewhere else and try and take another pick from behind on a totally different flank.
Yeah, Spicy Fish has been one of the players that we've really been looking out for during this entire engagement between these two teams. And since he got taken off so early on in that round, well, not really early, because they're actually kind of showing exactly what Concordia was doing in the past. They kind of took a slow turn when it came to actually trying to take site. There's only 40 seconds remaining, and there's still a 4v5 situation. So they don't really know how to counter downstairs. Like I mentioned before, hopefully they can actually counter as well as they can play it. They haven't really been doing that very well, considering that the fact that there's 30 seconds remaining and they haven't even gotten downstairs to the basement yet. And look, another kill comes up from Sully right there. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Yes, there was a trade on poisoned, but that doesn't mean anything right now because the attackers currently have 3 players remaining, and then there goes a 4th. It's pretty much just done at this point.
Complexity, last one left. There's been a lot of great frags from those roamers. Board 242 finishing off for his team, making a nice comeback from round 1 after losing that first gunfight, if you'll call it that. Not a disappointing way, unfortunately, but back to prove himself in round 2, finishing up the round for Concordia, giving them their first defensive round, which is really good, especially looking at that 5-round, not lead, but a lead on 5 rounds for Oswego, which is putting them dangerously close to that match point.
Yeah, I think I just need to start finishing those off because I keep putting you in that situation where there's only one player left. I got to stop assuming that they're not going to play aggressive. They're going to play aggressive. That's locking in my head now. They're going to play aggressive, and they're probably going to be getting taken care of right away because, like I said, they got to take care of those 1v1s. So I don't blame them. I don't blame them for it whatsoever. But whatever. I'm just not going to do that anymore. I apologize. I apologize, my boy Tresh. But I do want to mention that Capcan switch. They switched from a Capcan to a Malusi. I like that. That's exactly what I want to see because in the past, I believe it was Cardboard as well that did pick up the Capcan and then decided to switch off to Malusi as well. And as I mentioned before, Malusi is a great roamer, so that's exactly what I want to see. Malusi compared to a Capcan, much more effective. Those audio calls will be way, 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 way better. Compared to a Nomad, that I would compare the noise coming from a Lucy to a Nomad, but it's consistently going on the entire time they're standing inside of it. So once the Malusi gets that nerf, she's probably going to be nerfing into the ground because it won't be as effective. But it's pretty much just going to be a Nomad at that point because once they walk inside of it, Wub goes off, shoot it, done. It's pretty much just going to be a Nomad at that point. It's a defending Nomad, Nomad air jab.
Last round, I liked that Sully, obviously taking a couple picks from those 2 flanks from the 2nd floor, really clean, playing conservatively, not getting himself killed early or anything. But I don't think that really stops the attack. I think that all fell on Oswego. They were very slow to push. And I think maybe that's a symptom that we're going to see of a larger issue of them attacking just too slowly. We saw them win round 1 because Concordia got very aggressive on the defense, pushing up and losing players unnecessarily. And that gave Oswego the win round 1. But maybe if Concordia is able to kind of clean up their act a little bit like last round and play slower and smarter, Oswego might just not attack fast enough to actually take rounds.
Yeah, as you see coming from the play right now on the attackers, they kind of just entered Big Tower with no fear of their own lives. They need to send those drones in because they're just going to be holding those angles for a very, very long time, and they shouldn't be their own roam denial. That's what Nomad's for. They should be droning it, getting a better understanding of where these operators are, and if they have the understanding of, okay, it's clear, we have a little bit more time before someone gets onto the rotate, then it's just, if they have more idea, if they drone site, if they have an understanding of where they are in general, who's on site, who's off site, if they get that idea, then they can actually efficiently take a wall like they just did.
Looks like Strip's gotten something into a tighter situation here. Pretty early pushes from Oswego into Attic, and the first smoke was kind of burned for nothing. The second one is going to actually start slowing that attack, but Blobfish has wasted no time on getting into that window into Attic, along with his fellow hard breachers right behind him. That's a lot of pressure on Attic already. They just need to get one more hard breach open and pass this shield, and Oswego will be able to start getting into sight. So from there, it's going to come down to what J-Boss is able to achieve on the other side of sight by Master Bedroom.
Ooh, the shot almost came off there from Denki there. Did you see that? If that kill right there, that's a lot of pressure being applied from the Attic. And there you go. There's the kill onto Warlord right there. Warlord playing a little bit too aggressive. If he just held the angle, because the audio calls were coming out. The fact that someone was on that window and the fact that someone was in that Attic hold right there. He needed to been made aware of that, and if he was to be made aware, then there would have been no problem. But Danky, oh my gosh, could take care of it along with Spicy Fish as well. This action might be in the favor of the defending side this time.
That communication between Blobfish and Spicy Fish was really nice, being able to take out Warlord, but pushing up yet again a little bit too much. Sully's able to find some more success on that Vigil, eventually being traded out, though. Here we see a lot more play in Kid's bedroom. Poison Luck is really going to be the last operator that's really important holding this defense. There's going to be the push, though. Danky rezzed and ready for some more kills. Strav is left alone in dormitory, and he's not going to be able to make it against just a lot of operators storming to site right on top of him.
Yeah, I just want to comment a little bit on that Mozzie play there. The position that he put himself into was definitely not ideal for him whatsoever. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Poisoned didn't have the confidence to actually peek that angle, and he didn't really continue to show that little bit of aggression. Because if you saw those pings, if you notice, while that Capitao was down, there was pings going on top, directly on top of his body. That means that they had a camera on that attic angle, meaning that they were fully aware that he was down, and he totally could have gotten taken care of in that whole situation. But the Mozzie just didn't take the time to actually, not only just quickly, he could have just shoulder checked it as someone was holding the angle, then quickly took care of the down person, then ran right back to side and held the angle a little bit more defensively than he was before. But that's not what we saw, and that definitely did not help him whatsoever. Just putting his body into that rotate hold, because that opened him up to every single angle inside attic, and that was definitely not what he wanted.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if Poison Luck's running barbed wire. If he had a C4 and still had it up, that could have potentially been a devastating double kill that would really have blunted the attack, evening up the numbers as well.
Yeah, we're actually currently on match point right now. So, like I said in the past, Oswego is probably going to be coming on top, and that's exactly what we're seeing right now. Currently, Concordia is half of their score right now, so they have some work to do. They need to win 3 rounds straight before they even come back, and then even at that, they're going to be going into overtime. So, it's gonna be a long match if they get there, but hopefully, I feel like Oswego can just clean this up. Like there's gonna be some intel going off the board right here, as you do see the IQ trying to hide her drone. That's gonna be some time wasted for Cardboard as well, because he probably needs to get to a roam spot right now, but he's just taking his time trying to take care of that drone. Let's see if he actually did take care of that drone. Did he? No, he didn't. He's still on the table right now.
And that is a very important drone from Blobfish. Blobfish getting a chance to drone himself in a little bit, in addition to his support players, can cause a lot of devastation, as we've seen over the course of the last 2 maps.
Yeah, and then here we go again. There's no droning. He's just entering through attic. He needs to actually take a step back and realize that this could be his life if he does not enter with a little bit more caution. They didn't drone the top part of it yet. And yes, there's an understanding of, okay, they're probably not going to be playing upstairs on that top part, but there's still that chance of someone doing it. So, like, it's not, the chances aren't 0. You got to be careful of that.
And guys, we guys taking a little bit of shortcuts here in actually getting their bulkhead secured, but it's gonna pay off, despite maybe it being not the smartest play necessarily, but overall they've been playing very smart, and I think they'll kind of recoup that. Definitely with the time, they took a bit of a gambit there, and 1 minute down, they've got secured positions in big tower. No real resistance there, and J-Boss once again entering from garage. This is looking pretty similar to last round, and Oswego was very convincing last round.
Yeah, he pre-placed toxic paper there, and then he did even detonate it. I thought he was actually going to be detonated purely off the audio call from the movement outside the window, but he actually didn't pop it yet. And at this point, with the shock still on the wall, I think they actually did just take care of it from downstairs with the IQ. That being said, it seems like there's going to be a coordinated push towards the attic side. Sully, the flank, is actually going to be taken care of almost instantaneously. Spicy Fish actually taking a little bit of revenge right there onto Sully, because Spicy Fish hasn't been playing too well throughout this rehost, but he actually managed to show that he is still here to play, and he's not done yet.
There's a location on strip, but he's lost that pre-placed and finally gets fragged out. That was a sort of a weird run around in circles. That's to the first 2 picks going to Oswego, and that's even better than last round, so he's looking very confident. Cardboard 42 is very low health, but peeking this window. He had that opportunity, not quite landing it. Warlord is left as the only player really holding up from trophy room, and Poison Luck is going to have to be fighting the same fight before from the players coming in through attic, pushing onto B.
Yeah, the aggression coming from the Attic side might actually work in the attacking side favor, but Warlord actually capitalizes on it, and then the instant trade comes off J-Boss, picking up a double kill for himself, one onto Warlord and one on a cardboard, and then a third comes up from onto Poison. That's actually going to be the game. Oswego taking round 10, actually finishing up the map as well, 7-3. J-Boss actually just pulled up and said, hey guys, I know you guys had a little bit of hope from actually coming back, but no, he slammed those hopes and took him right back down to the ground. That was really well played by J-Boss, because he's been made full aware just straight off a bullet of gunshots, and he pushed onto site, took care of him as soon as he could, and that was well played. You got to give props to J-Boss right there. I got to put emphasis on that. Good job, J-Boss. 7-1 during the rehost.
Yeah, I think the combination of Blobfish and J-Boss is crazy. Blobfish just storms through, consistently fragging, and J-Boss just sometimes, sits back, plays a little bit more of a supporting role, getting that droning out for his teammates, and then the rest of the time just ends the game single-handedly. It's really impressive plays and a really tight competition all the way through from Concordia University at Wisconsin.
Yeah, the fact that J-Boss, because when they do the rehost, that resets their KD for the round, and he pulled up with 7-1 to clean it up as well, even after the rehost. So can you can we get like the addition between the two before the rehost and after the rehost? Because I'm really curious now. Because that being said, J-Boss went on a tear, because currently he had a 2-point KD right now, set 7-1. I don't know what the last round was. I really hope actually, I think we're pulling up right now. It's 4 or 5. Okay, so he had 11 kills and around like 6 deaths. So that's beautifully played. I mean, he was like we mentioned before, Sonar was going to be the carry, and then here comes J-Boss showing that he's here to carry as well. He's here to get those frags. He's here to push when he needs to push, and he's here to actually take care of those weaknesses while he can take care of those weaknesses. And you just well played. That's all I can say.
Yeah, going forward, Oswego is definitely going to be one of the teams to watch for. I'm not sure if there are any other undefeated teams, but they're currently 5-0, not to be lessened at all. That's a really crazy record going through here. So they're definitely in contention for winning overall. That's a really great setup for their team. Concordia University, Wisconsin, of course, not lagging too far behind. That'll be a second loss for them, but they're still 3-2, which is not a record to scoff at either. And I think they'll be tearing it through. I think they've made a really good showing today, and I think they'll continue to show very well.
Yeah, it's really refreshing to see this, because rank doesn't matter. No rank matters if you have gold, if you have silver, if you have platinum. It doesn't matter, as long it's competitive is entirely different from ranked, and it's a whole different mindset. And to see Sonar, he may not have that high of a rank, but the fact that he just popped off against everyone else, and with the efficiency that he did, along with J-Boss, it just shows that does not matter. That the way that he just cleared sight, I'm pretty sure he was the lowest of the entire game, and he still cleared it. That just goes to show rank does not matter. Just because this guy is lower than everyone else does not mean that he cannot carry you through this competitive match. Oswego beautifully played. Sonar played it beautifully. J-Boss played it beautifully. You gotta point out those MVPs of every single team, because you got to understand who those stars are of every single team, and who has been making the most impacts on both teams, and actually showed, because the game was actually pretty close too, because at the beginning they were going hand to hand, round win to round win, and they were having no issues. This one was a little bit more in Oswego's favor, going to 7-3, but overall it was pretty close, and I feel like they did pretty well overall, both teams.
Coming up next, I think we may have a bit of a break here. I'm not totally sure, but I'm sure production will answer that and give you guys some information there in Twitch chat here soon. But our next match is going to be Arcadia against UC Davis 2. So that'll be a nice match to tune in here. I imagine probably in the next 45 minutes. So you'll have a little bit of break here. The two of us, Kaaroh and myself, will be gone for the night. I'd like to thank once again our production staff, Patrick and Narwhals. They've been doing phenomenal, so can't shout them out enough.
Yeah, but I think I've really said everything that I've said so far. It's just what I needed to get it out. I don't think I have anything else to say, so I think we can just sign out if you have anything else to say.
Yeah, thank you guys as always for watching. Have a great night, everybody.
What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
Hey man, I just can't find a comfortable headset. I mean, I've tried everything. Literally everything.
Sheesh, my brother. I got you.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
That is comfortable.